All right. We are live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Marky Mark is in the building. What's up, Marky Mark? Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Menin's in the building. Lorenzo's in the building. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. I hope y'all are doing amazing today. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. Welcome to Track Talk. Genevieve's in the building. What's up, Genevieve? Welcome in. If y'all are coming in for the first time over on TikTok, then definitely let me know where you're joining from. If you make music, let me know the kind of music that you listen to, or not listen to, the kind of music that you make, the kind of music that you work on. And hopefully we'll get into listening to a few of y'all here in just a couple minutes. But before we get everything rolling, would love to just chat for a little bit. Nathan's in the building. Frosted, welcome in. Fifi, Silex, appreciate y'all tapping in. Welcome in, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining. From Palm Beach Island, Florida. Make nail types of music. Hold on. Make all type. Yes, yeah, I'm trying to use my imagination. Yeah, make space all types of music. That's amazing. That's amazing. Is there anything in particular that you tend to focus on as far as the music that you know? You're totally good. I was just like make nail. I was like I thought it was maybe some kind of like metal subgenre or something like that. Make all makes a lot more sense. My brain is just catching up right now. I feel like it's still waking up somehow. Alice, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. That's amazing. How long have you been making music? Once again, y'all, we'll dive into the music here in just a couple minutes. I'm just getting all the different platforms, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok up and running, getting the algorithms going, get everything moving here. If y'all could do me a huge favor, make sure y'all are tapping the screen, share out the live, repost the live, send in your heart me. It does really help out the live stream quite a bit. And I will explain the full structure of the live stream here in just a couple minutes as well, in regards to the two different lanes that we're in as well. Genevieve, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. Young Vintage in the building. Kyle, thanks for tapping in. I appreciate you being here. Only Code Phantom. Only I listen work on game music. You work on like video game music? That's really cool. How long have you been doing that? If that's what you're referencing, that sounds awesome. Kyle's in the building. What's up? A1, appreciate you tapping in. Welcome into the stream. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. We're just chilling. We're chilling. Let's see. Artsy's in the building. What's up, Artsy? Welcome into the stream, y'all. Once again, y'all, let me know where y'all are joining from. Let me know if you make music, the kind of music that you make. For only 8 months, but I'm a drummer for like 2 years. I do random stuff for games on Roblox. That sounds fire. That's awesome. Q, welcome in. Dexter, appreciate you tapping in as well. Welcome to the stream. Let me see. Okay, and you said you've been drumming for 2 years. That's awesome. Do you have a kid at home right now? I've been drumming for largely my whole life. In fact, I have a new drum set I am potentially ordering tonight. I think I found one. I think I found the one that I've been looking for at the right price. I'm excited to get it. I just sold 3 drum sets, and just now getting a fresh one in. So it took me a while to find the cymbals that I wanted. It took me a while to find the kit that I wanted, but it's fine. I think I finally have what I need. Lacole, of course you can. Absolutely. Teco, thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate that. Anku, thank you so much for jumping into the stream today as well. I appreciate you tapping in as well. Of course, if anybody would like to send music, it's at the link in my bio. You'll see 2 different lanes there. You'll see a free lane and you'll see a consultation lane. And I'll explain exactly what those are and exactly what comes with each of those lanes here in just a moment. And just a couple minutes once I get the different platforms up and running and get a couple things refreshed. I'll explain exactly how these different lanes work and kind of what they are and the kind of the structure of the stream. And I did one for a game mode on Undertale. If you want, I can tell you the mode I worked on. Yeah, talk to me. Andrew, sounds good. And I think Teco, I got you as well. I see yours that just came in as well. Exo Lovesick, I see you. Thank you so much for tapping in. That might be Andrew right there. Thank y'all so much for joining. Yeah, everyth's at the link in my bio. If anyone wants to submit there, you'll see the 2 lanes there, and I'll explain those in a second. Flinch is in the building. What's up, Flinch? Welcome in. Yuzia's in the building. Actually, oh wait, hold on. I did forget Perfect, perfect, perfect. I got you. I did forget to update the group, so give me 1 second. I do need to send a message to the group to let them know that we're live real quick. So give me just one moment. Adriel, welcome in. John, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. And then I want to keep answering questions and stuff too. Would love to know, for those of you that are coming in, if you make music, I would love to know the kind of music that you make, where you're joining from, so on and so on. Could you pin the link? You can't pin the, you can't pin the link in the TikTok chat, but it's at the link in my bio. So if you go to my profile, all the way to my profile, you got to click it twice. You'll see a link there. If you don't see the link there, it's usually a regional thing where in certain regions it doesn't show up. If that's the case, just find Torvik Music on Instagram. It's the exact same name as here. Find the name over there. It's the exact same link, and it should show up for you. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me update the group. Let's see where to go. There it is. But yeah, if it doesn't show up over here, it's just because of that regional thing. A regional thing. I don't know if it's no. You're good. Code. It should show up for most people. I mean, I get 50 submissions a day, and it's or more, and everyone has the same link over here, and usually works for most people. For any reason it's not working, then you can check YouTube, you can check Twitch, you can check Instagram. It doesn't show for you, and you don't have Instagram, then you can go to, you can find me on, I'm the same name everywhere, so find me. We're live on Twitch and YouTube right now as well. If you go to YouTube, you'll see the same over there, and the link is in the description for that video. Most people have YouTube, so hopefully you got YouTube. Okay, let me update the group here really quick, and then we'll dive in. Gabriel's in the building. Stone's in the building. Welcome in, Stone. I appreciate you tapping in. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate y'all being here. Give me just a couple minutes here, and I'll explain the whole live stream. We'll dive into some of the details of it. JT's in the building. What's up, JT? Derek Bennett's in the building. What's up, dude? What's up? Thank you so much for joining, man. We're just getting flowing. We're just getting started. I forgot to update the group, so live now. We're live now. Boom, boom, boom. Beautiful, beautiful. Derek, how you doing today, man? I hope you're doing well. Hope work and life and everything is treating you okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Been a long week, dude. I feel that. I feel the same, man. It has just been, I will say it's been good. I feel like it's been good, but very long, very long at the same. Okay, I think I got everything updated over there. It has been a very long, strenuous week. I feel like just tons of work. It's been all over the place. How are you? I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well as well. Check out my band's music. It's Devil's Deal. Voodoo Small on YouTube. Yeah, everything's at the link in my bio. Bro, I write so much music. I just don't know how to produce it. I'm gonna give you the basic answer, but School of YouTube is a great way to start. I would suggest if you don't already have just like a basic free DAW, even like if you have a MacBook like GarageBand, or even from your phone GarageBand, or something like that, there's a lot of options on there for you to start producing and setting up your keys, your BPMs, adding in loops, and just like building basic song structures, even if they're not good. They shouldn't be good. You're just starting. But I would just suggest just learning the platforms. Got you, Derek. Thank you so much, man. Start learning the platforms and start learning the language behind production, because no matter how you go about producing later on, whether you work with people, you hire session musicians, you hire producers, or you end up doing it more yourself, the more that you understand just the language behind what BPM is, what the key is, and how to build, how to input MIDI, how to control that. Obviously, even like the basics of mixing, the more that you just understand the language behind those things, the easier time you're going to have just as you go through pursuing that. Where are you from? I'm from Texas, Genevieve. So we're in San Antonio right now. This is where my wife, both of us are from. We did live in Dallas for about 2.5 years. I had a small studio up there, and now we're back in San Antonio, and I've built out the home studio here for a while now. John, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. It's more of the vocal part. Okay. What do you feel like is your pain point, JT, as far as like producing the vocal part? Is it the tracking process? Is it having the gear to do it? Whatever it may be, let me know. Cinematic, ethereal. vocalist. I write, produce music. Would my work? Absolutely. Calendros, I hope I'm saying that correctly. 100%. This is a space where we listen to and break down a lot of different genres of music. So absolutely any genre, any style, any language, any region, any cultural background. There's a lot of variety here. There is no bias as far as like, this is the kind of music that I like and that I listen to. And that's all that we're here to break down. We're going to listen to a lot of different stuff. Mr. Dom is in the building over on the Purple app. What's up, Mr. Dom? It's so good to see you, man. Legends in the building. Legends in the building. Thank you so much for joining, man. It's good to see that name pop up in the chat. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, give me just 1 second. Luke, thank you for the follow. Nova's in the building. Yeah, Nova, we're wide open. We haven't even heard the first song yet. We have not even heard the first song yet. Luke, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Doom. So I tried to submit, but it says submit a valid link. Just make sure that you're submitting to the right form. Make sure that if you are sending a link that you have selected the link sending literally just 10 minutes ago. We're just chatting, Nova. Make sure that you are sending a link to the link place because there's going to be a spot for like MP3 or WAV. There's going to be a spot for a link. There's going to be a spot for Spotify, stuff like that. So just make sure that you are submitting to the right spot right there, and then you should be ready to go. I didn't send any link. Well, I mean, I don't know your process, so I don't know. I can't see exactly what's going on in the background. No user, welcome in. I see you on the Purple app. Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate you joining. Let me see. Midlife Crisis. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you so much. Everything's at the link in my bio. In like 2 seconds, I'm going to let y'all know kind of the structure of the live stream here in a second. Yeah, you don't have to send. You don't have to send a link. You don't. What's up, Nicole? Welcome in. Yeah, you don't have to send a link. It could be MP3. It could be a WAV file. It could be a link to your music. It could be SoundCloud, YouTube, so on and so on, so on and so on. Andrew's in the building. What's up? Good to see you. Okay. Let me see. Just was informed I've been invited as an official Grammy voting member. Had to tell you first, bro. Thanks for all your help in getting my music up to par. Let's go. Oh, love, man. Oh, love. That's, dude. And nothing makes me happier than to see the people around me win, man. That's so exciting. Y'all show some love to Mr. Dom's over on the Purple app. That's the family. We love Dom and everything that he does, what he's about. That's the real deal right there. That's good people. Obviously good talent as well. What a cool opportunity, man. All love from this end. Libby and I got you back no matter what. Appreciate you more than you know, man. That's such great news. Okay, really quick. Give me 2 seconds here. Let me refresh this over here so I can get on the same page on all the different platforms. And then I will let y'all know what's going on here. In the garden, got you. We already have 11 people in line. We haven't even heard the first song. And we already have 11 in line. Beautiful. Yucca's in the building. What's up, Yucca? Good to see you too, man. We got some of the family coming in. Slim's in the building. Soup papers will be sent shortly. Crazy, just to ruin the day, Slim. All right, let's get into the music, man. Let's get into the music. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Dom's the man, dude. I'm so excited for you. Link in bio. Follow Knuckles. Welcome in. Torvax. Welcome in as well. Appreciate you tapping in. For those of you who have never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the stream. I appreciate y'all joining today. I appreciate y'all spending any amount of time with us. It means a lot. It's a good space with good people. We love music. We love people who love music. That's what this live is all about. We're here for producers, engineers, session musicians, writers, vocalists, whatever it may be. We're all over the place. But we really get into the details of the music. Let's get into the submission process just really quickly, and then we'll dive into the music as we are already getting a bunch of people online, and I want to get moving here pretty quick. We'll be on for probably, I would say maybe 2 to 3 hours today, nothing too crazy. But we're gonna get into the music. But if you've never been here before, we have 2 lanes here that you'll see when you go to the submission process. You'll see those 2 lanes and the 2 different spaces you can submit for. There's a free line where we will listen up to 2 minutes of your song and give a quick note. And that's short and sweet. That's exactly what it is. We'll hear your song for up to 2 minutes. We'll give a quick note on maybe some structural things you can improve on, and we'll move on pretty quickly. Then there is the consultation side. The consultation side is the meat of what we do here. Those are 20 to 30 minute multiple listen deep dive consultations on the structure of your music. We're going to dive deep into the nuances of your mix and master, production elements, sound design choices, lyric and song formatting. We're going to spend that 20 to 30 minutes going through your track multiple times to really get into the details and the nuances of what you're doing, both practically and creatively within the structure of your music. Those are not a quick review. There is no trash or pass. There's no ratings. There's no polls. It is a long form deep dive into your music. Also, if those of you don't know who I am, my name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done that for the last 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained pianist. So a lot of the perspective of this live stream, the structure of this live stream is kind of pointed in that direction. Just to offer some tools and offer specific, professional, and actionable feedback on the structure of what you're doing in your music. If you would like to submit said music for either the free line or for the deep dive consultation side, then everything is at the link in my bio. So if you're on TikTok, go to the link in my bio. You'll see everything that you need there. That is also where you see the queue. So if you want to see the queue and you want to see the order, you want to see where you're at in line, it is always available to you at the same link that's at the link in my bio as well. Just go there to the submit form and you'll see everything that you need right there. If you are on the purple app and you would like to submit, type !submit in the chat. If you are on the red app, you could go to the description for the live stream and you'll see everything that you need right there as well. That should be about it. That should cover everything that we need. But once again, if you want to submit your music, especially if you're on TikTok, one of the primary platforms, then everything is at the link in my bio. Yucca said, producing again tonight. Been some weeks, but got a placeholder request. So tinkering with some ideas. Need to restart my ears every now and then. So this is as good a place to reset as any. 100%, man. 100%. We always love when we got Yucca in the chat. Mikey's in the building. What's up, Mikey? Welcome in. If y'all are on TikTok, do me a huge favor. And make sure y'all are tapping the screen, like the live, share out the live, repost. Don't forget to send your heart me for the day. It does really help out the live stream quite a bit. Let's get into it, man. It's time for some music. We have In the Garden by Derek Bennett featuring Mary Chandler Hicks. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Give me 1 second to refresh over here, and let's get into the music. Let's get into the music. I think I've heard this before, if I'm not mistaken, but update me, of course, on anything that you want me to focus on. But this is the first master version, I believe, of this track. So let's dive in. And let's get into some of the details. Also, just quick reminder, obviously, if you are in the free line as well, and you want to move faster, of course you can't. That's completely up to you. That line does tend to stack up pretty quickly, as you can already see in the queue. So it's completely up to you. There's no pressure, but just keep in mind that line does get pretty long sometimes. So if you are looking to go faster, you can. Going faster also means you get the full detailed breakdown. You've heard this, made some tweaks on it from last consult, then got the mix and master. Boom. Let's get it. In the Garden by Derek Bennett. Let's dive in. Here we go.
I come to the garden alone while the dew is
Nice. Already.
still on the roses, and the voice that I hear falling upon my ear, the Son of God discloses. And He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy that we share as we tarry there, none has ever known.
Sounds vibrant, man.
He speaks, and the sound
Nice.
of His voice is so sweet.
This is cool, man.
The birds all hush their singing. The melody that He gave to me within my heart is still ringing.
There's parts of it that seem really familiar.
And He walks
This chorus does.
with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me
Thank you for the follow.
I am His own,
sound fantastic, man. Super beefy.
And he tells me I am his own. And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own. Joy that we share as we tarry there. Love has
So good, man. Come on, Derek. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Y'all, please show some love. Feeling that my music sucks? That's perfectly fine. To be honest with you, is it feeling? Am I saying that correctly? That's half the reason why some people are here. It's a lot of what people do. A lot of what people do. What I sent to him, he might not enjoy. Yeah, and here's what I want people to know too. This live, and maybe this is not why you want to submit it, but this live is not necessarily about what I enjoy or don't enjoy. It's not about who has the best song, who's the most hype, who's the whatever battle, whatever stuff like that. That's not what this live is about. There's a lot of lives like that, and that's perfectly valid. That's just not what I do here. Especially on this consultation side that we're getting into here. This whole structure of this live stream is really to dig in and offer value, and get into the nuances of your music, talk through mixing, mastering details, talk through production elements, talk through your sound design choices, the way that you build lyrics and song formatting and stuff like that, and hopefully and ideally offer some tools and some tips, some actionable feedback to really dig into those details over those 20 to 30 minute breakdowns. So I don't want you to worry about, I work in and around and consult on a ton of different genres of music. This is not a place where it's like all we listen to is R&B and that's all I do is R&B and the whole bias is all R&B. And if it's not an R&B song, then I just kind of hate on it a little bit and everyone roasts it and there's a bunch of frowny faces in the chat or something. That's not what this is at all. There are no polls, there's no ratings, there's nothing like that. This is strictly about really getting into the details of your music. So if your music objectively needs a lot of quality work, that's what this live is kind of based around, is helping people improve their quality, improve the structure of their music, so on and so on. If anybody, yeah, we're all different. If anybody would like to submit your music, all that's at the link in my bio. Whether you want to get in on the consultation side, which is what we're doing here. If you want to get in on the consultation side, which are the 20 to 30 minute multiple listen long form breakdowns of your music, where we go through a bunch of times, dive into the details of what you're doing, and obviously give it a very detailed breakdown. Or if you want to get in the free line, of course, which is an up to 2 minute listen of your song and a quick note at the end. But yeah, the whole live stream here is very long form, especially like these consultation sides, very long form, very detailed, very nuanced. I'm not here to trash you. I'm not here to roast you. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm also not here. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm not here to give you exposure necessarily. If that happens and the algorithm is kicking off, fabulous. I love it. That's awesome if that happens, but it's not my priority. It's not the reason why we're doing it. So don't submit necessarily for that reason. Sounds good, Nova. I got you, man. I got you. I'll check the line here. Pure entertainer is, you really should do a podcast. I was going to at some point. I can roast you. I was going to at some point, and it just became too overwhelming. I've got way too many things going on. I'm just way too busy with work. And I had started it. I had set everything up and I just could not do it. This is the podcast. This is anywhere from 2 to 5 hour long form talk and chat and breakdown surrounding music. So this is the podcast right here. You just have an opportunity to watch it live on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch. And then of course you can go and watch back, on YouTube as well with the VODs. YSC, welcome in. Sounds good, no user. Sounds good. I'll double check the line here in a second. Let me see. I'm next. My song is on all platforms. You're only next if you're next in the line. You're only next if you're next in the line. I don't see you next in the line. But if you want to submit, everything's at the link in my bio. Alexa, thank you. I appreciate it. Everything's at the link in my bio. So if you go to that link, you can submit for either line, of course, the consultation side or the free side. But let's get back into it. Let the next song go. I can't stay much longer because it's too code. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. This song was submitted on the consultation side, which means, hold on. Screen just went blank, which means we're about to spend 20 minutes breaking it down. So this is not, we blast through the songs. I say, yeah, it's like a 6, bro. And then we move on and say, get a better mix, and then move on. It's not what it is. It's not what it is. So if it's 2 a.m., get some rest. Get some rest. Get, so you can have a lively, vibrant day tomorrow. If you're waiting on something like that, then it's going to be, yeah. I don't want you to stay up with an expectation that it's going to go fast. It's not. These consultations are long, they're detailed, they're nuanced, and it's always going to be that way on that side. Okay, let's run it from the top. This is Derek Bennett in the Garden featuring Mary Chandler Hicks. It's a really, really nice structure, man. I've heard the song before, so there's some things we'll move past, but we've heard the song before. It is a really, really good structure. It's a great rendition of what you're doing. Sonically, it's powerful. It's very, very vibrant. There's one or two quick little notes that I think might be worth a revision on the mixing side, just to maintain clarity on the vocal, especially when you get into your most dynamic moments and the vocal goes into its lower registers. Those two pockets right there, I want to listen for here just really briefly, but you're, man, absolutely crushing it. Aqua Glows in the building. Welcome to the Purple app. I appreciate you being here. Give me your opinion on Billie Eilish. I love Billie Eilish. I think she's great. Even more so, I really love Phineas's production. Phineas is one of my favorite producers. I just think he's really interesting with the way that he approaches his production. So I think Billie's great. She's obviously a generational talent as far as what she's accomplished in the last decade or so. I think she's awesome. But I really, really appreciate what Phineas does in the background as well. I think he's incredibly, incredibly talented and underrated as a producer. Runaway, thank you for the follow. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it from the top. Of course. Someone's Smoothie Juice World. Yeah, people don't read details. That's fine. That's fine. So like all of this here sounds good. The thing that I'm starting to hear, and again, so much of this is personal choice. It comes down to what you want to get out of the song and the music and these parts of the production, stuff like that. It's starting between the pads and the strings underneath, the high piano octaves that are in there pretty prominently, and the cello coming in. There ends up being kind of a lot of energy up there. Now, it's all like mixed well in a way that there is good separation, and it's like a good, clear, transparent mix here where I can pick up on everything that's going on, and I think it sounds great in that context. But it does start to get like a little noisy for me. I'm starting to hear a lot of loud things, and I'm not getting as much of the contrast that maybe I would want to still maintain that vocal as the primary focus in the mix here. In my opinion, I would maybe bring down probably piano and cello, let's say nothing crazy, like 2 or 3 dB, just to regain the spotlight on that lead vocal. It is a beautiful lead vocal. It's a fantastic lead vocal. She has an amazing voice. And again, all of the different production elements sound really good, but I get the sense that they're all kind of vying for my attention a little bit, and it makes this early part of the mix feel, I think, more energetic and maybe louder and noisier than I would prefer early on in the song structure here. So maybe bring cello and piano down just a hair, just so we can maintain a softer structure and a good clean lead. And then of course you can bring everything back and going into your hooks and stuff like that. But that's my gut reaction to this first part here.
And the voice that I hear falling upon my ear, the Son
Great lead.
of God
Awesome.
discloses, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy that we share as we tarry there.
This is awesome. It sounds great, man. It's a really, really good production structure. Phenomenal lead vocal. It's crystal clean and clear, and balanced really well. They've done a great job of complementing the air and that expression in the vocal without it being brittle and harsh. It's always the sweet spot with a airy, high register vocal, and she's in her like falsetto and mixed voice for the vast majority of the song. It can be really easy, especially if you're going to brighten it a lot to kind of force it over the top of the mix. It can make it, it can make it very brittle and harsh to listen to. I'm not getting any of that here.
None has ever known
beautifully here because we remove some of the high octaves of the cello and some of the other elements right here. Really like this engineer, but like you said, it's going to be hard to go elsewhere now. Yeah, I mean, they're crushing it. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. I wouldn't look too far. I wouldn't look too far. I think they're really doing a fantastic job. It's a great mix. I mean, this sounds, especially like percussion pads, stuff like that, and lead vocal. It sounds fantastic. Like really, it's a really powerful mix. They did a great job. You hear how this cleans up? Like now I'm regaining a lot of the clarity from the vocal because there's not those other octaves and cello in there right now. This is closer to, oh yeah, hell yeah. Awesome. This is closer to what I'm looking for right here. Harmonics are great too.
Speaks and the sound of his voice is so sweet. The birds all hush their singing. The melody that he gave to me.
Yeah, this gives you a lot better clarity here.
And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own. And the joy that we share.
Okay, here. This is honestly probably the only other thing. This is an awesome mix, man. It sounds really cool. It sounds really good. This is probably the last little thing right here, and then I'll play out the rest of the song. On the hook, so you can tell there's two different lanes here from the verse to the hook. This different vocal comes in a little bit stronger. To me, and again, how they do this, and if they do this, is up to y'all to decide if you are hearing the same thing or if you kind of can affirm it or not. In this section right here, this lead vocal, once all of these other now production mix, beautiful. Phenomenal. Man, it sounds good. Man, it sounds so fire. Really, really powerful, energetic, vibrant mix on the production here. Lead vocal mix, tonally perfect. Sounds awesome. Dynamically, the vocal has a pretty big spread dynamically from her low register to her higher register. So when da 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 da, beautiful. All that's really forward, sounds really, really strong. And then when she dips down, da 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 da. The lower register there falls pretty far back in the mix for me, which I don't think really. I think it would probably sound perfect if it wasn't as massive wall of sound of a production as it is. If it was a simpler production, which I don't want it to be, but if it was a simpler production, you could probably get away with it falling back a little bit more and you still maintain some legibility. But in this little pocket right here, some of the lead-in lines, the da-da-da, and then she goes back into that register and it feels really confident and feels really forward. The lower register right there gets kind of lost in the back. And then when she dips down back into that register, throughout this chorus, you lose the notes almost completely. They just get those words kind of fall away into the background of the mix. They don't maintain their presence at the front. So I would maybe love on that specific vocal track potentially to have maybe tighter compression, or maybe it just needs one more stage of compression, like a slow release compressor, to just nudge up the bottom information a little bit more and keep it a bit more controlled, like just tighten it a little bit so that vocal can't fall back in the mix, something like that. Or obviously it's a taste thing a little bit too, or you keep it the same and you kind of lock it in where it is, because it does sound awesome. The thing I'm just keeping in mind is that vocal is competing with a lot. It's competing with a really heavy mix, which is great. Sounds fantastic, but it is a big mix with a lot of elements vying for your attention. So if that vocal falls back, obviously the message and the vocal being one of the primary things you want to hear here, if that vocal falls back in the mix, I feel like we might lose some of it there. Let me run it back on the hook here really quick, but that to me is one of the only things, is just like maintaining vocal clarity through some of these bigger moments of the song. All these are great. All fantastic. And then these next couple notes that lead in get really quiet. When we get back to da, 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 we get back into that range again, but that lower register, we lose almost all of those words right there. I think it's and the that lead in right there. And then the next couple, after she goes high again, she goes back down for a second, and you'll hear a couple of those other notes leave the mix as well. Lana, thanks for tapping in. Everything's at the link in my bio. So right now we're doing the consultation side. These are the deep dives where we spend 20 plus minutes diving into the nuances of the music, going through the song multiple times. And then of course there's the free line as well. But these are the deep dives here. If you go to the submission form, you'll see 2 different lanes there. Okay. So here, there, you'll hear that pretty dramatic. That dramatic dynamic range right there. I would love to tighten that up a hair. If that bottom level of information in the vocal could come up like 2 dB, chef's kiss. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. No complaints. To me, that's the last little missing piece of just regaining vocal presence at the top of the mix. Beyond that, gorgeous. Let me get into this last section of the song in the last hook, and then we'll close it up. This is about ready to go though, man. This is like, to be honest with you, this is like, potentially, depending on what needs to be done, 15 minutes of revision, 30 minutes to double check and reference a couple times. Like this is not anything crazy. It's like maybe automating volume on your cello and your piano on the first verse, and maybe tighter compression on the vocal there for the biggest hooks. That's about it, man. It's a fantastic record. Great dynamic range. So much space, so much life.
I am his own, and he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own. Joy that we share.
Let's go. Let's go. It's probably the best mix that I've heard on a song from you. It's got weight, man. It's got weight. It's got emotion. It's loud. It's wide. It's energetic. Yeah, it's probably one of the better mixes that I've heard from anything that you've sent me. Man, show some love to Derek Bennett. Once again, that is Derek Bennett in the Garden featuring Mary Chandler Hicks on the vocals there. Absolutely beautiful job. I mean, yeah, it's the unfortunate reality, and this is not always the case. I want to give people like hope too. Like it's not. Sometimes you find people and they crush it for cheap. I know some people that were doing like really good mixes for $150, $200. Like they were doing great, and then every once in a while you get a taste and you spend, I don't know what this engineer costs, but let's throw out, let's say you spend $600 on a mix, $500 on a mix, even or more. Obviously you can go more pretty easily, but let's say you spend $600 on a solid engineer. It's and they do a good job. It's really challenging to go the other way because you're like, oh, you really quickly hear the gap. You really quickly hear the gap, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know I needed that. I didn't even know the vocal could sound like that in the middle of the mix. I didn't even know, these are good drums. I didn't know they could sound like that. It is. I thought my other guy was good at mixing, but then this guy has blown me away. Yeah, it's a different world. And again, I don't say that to be like, yeah, there's no hope unless you spend $700 on a mix. It's absolutely not true, of course. There's people that do magic for, $100, $200, Bobby, thanks for the follow. But man, here's what I will say. Here's what I will encourage most people to do. Jordan, the composer, welcome in. I would encourage people at least once, save up your money, wait a couple years, get a track or an album or something that's really, really important to you. Get one phenomenal mix. Spend some money on it. Get one phenomenal mix and use that. Even if you never go to this person again, and you don't, you're like, well, man, if I spend $600 on a mix, I'll never be able to release music. That's not what I'm saying. Do get a great mix at least once, and hear your potential. Yeah, that's what I'm doing with this entire album. Yeah, like get a great mix at least once. hear your potential, hear what it is possible, hear it's possible with your music, hear what your vocal can sound like, and then you can use that as a reference to working with people that maybe are a little bit cheaper, working or even trying to self-engineer, self-produce stuff like that. You can get an ear of like, oh, this is what my music can sound like. This is its potential. This is what professional polish sounds like in my genre. This is what, this is what I can actually build with my music and get it done at a very, very, very high level. Welcome in, Miranda. Good to see you. Happy Thursday to you. Get it done at a really high level. And I think really quickly you'll realize the steps that you can take to be like, oh, that's what big drums sound like. Oh, that's what a clear vocal in the middle of the mix sounds like. That's what positioning can really look like in a mix. And then you can use that as a reference for a lot of your future mixes. I've done that like very strategically with other artists that I've worked with too, where they're like, hey, I can't afford like to pay for engineers all the time, but I want to hire you once just to hear what this is like, and then I will use that to mix my own music from there on out. I love that. That's part of the goal of this live, right? Part of the goal of this live is to offer you as much autonomy in your music as possible, so that you do have you are training your own ears, you are building your own skills, you are learning the language behind the craft that you're in, so that you can improve on what you're doing, within your group of people and within what you're doing. So that's I absolutely love when people do that. I love when people do it. It's amazing. Please show some love, man. Show some love. That is Derek Bennett in the Garden featuring Mary Chandler Hicks. Beautiful, beautiful job, man. You could put this out tomorrow and it would sound phenomenal. You'd be ready to go. We have, let me see. Whew, Jesus. Come on, Texas allergies, man. Okay. Overload, I got you. Cowboy Explosions, boom, I got you. Nova's in the building. Let's dive in. Nova, hop in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Let's keep the music going. Quick reminder, if you would like to submit your music, everything is at the link in my bio. Everything is at the link in my bio. So if you would like to submit for like the consultations that we just did, or any other lane, everything's at the link in my bio. Keep in mind the consultations are 20 to 30 minutes long. They're detailed. They're long form. We go through your track multiple times to really dive into the details of it like we just did, and we'll do with every song in this lane. So if you want to submit, just make sure that you choose the place that you want to go to. You can always move around. You can always go faster. Completely up to you. But let's keep it moving. We got Nova in the building. I don't know why I said it like that. Is it Cecia? Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the follow as well. Roosevelt, welcome in. All right. We got Nova in the building. This is an older one. Thinking of rewriting / re-recording and balancing it. This is another song mixing dubstep and metal. Beautiful. It'll be next year before I release these. It's painful. It's painful sometimes, man. You know what you could do, Derek, as well, is I encourage a lot of people to do this too. Like I said, you get a really strong engineer for the album. You spread out your payments for all this stuff too, and push it down the road a little bit, and intermittently release some like acoustic versions to it. They're so much easier, especially in your genre. You could strip some of these down to like an acoustic guitar and a piano, or a piano and a cello, or something like that, and keep maybe even a lot of the same vocals, depending on the song, depending on its structure and stuff like that, and release some earlier versions, maybe a waterfall EP. Take like 6 of the songs that you're working on and release them once a month in an acoustic version, leading up to like a waterfall release, rollout for an acoustic EP, or even some older songs that you have. So you can just keep in the algorithm, keep in the Spotify base, like keep pushing for editorial, keep pushing for playlists on there, and get some movement for what you're doing. And then obviously you have a big drop, next year of a 12 track album that is, has a lot of, great quality mixes, good production structure, so on and so on. Haroon, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. I've got songs releasing into this now. Okay, perfect. I'm glad to hear that, because it could be, this is the thing that I run into, is for one, I just have, I want to do music so bad. I want to make, my own, but I have very, very little capacity for it. But there's one thing I'm trying to push for more. I would really like to push for more, is not releasing every 2 years, which is what I do now. I think the last song I released was February of last year. It's brutal. It's really annoying, and I want to do more, but it's hard to get the capacity to not just finish them. Obviously you have the stuff, the tools to finish them, but it's the time, and then the ability to promote. The ability to promote is just, it can be so frustrating. Yes, exactly. Link in the bio, Miranda. Oh yeah, I forgot your mind now. Thank you. New song every 2 weeks. Testament once a month. Beautiful, dude. I love it. Also with my song, I want to put some sort of vocals on it when I rewrite it. Okay, beautiful. Let's get it. All right, we got Nova in the building once again. If you want to submit, everything's at the link in my bio, whether it's the free lane or the consultation side, which are the deep dives. Let's get it, man. All love to Derek Bennett and the music. Definitely tap in with him as well. This is Embodied by Machine by Nova. I do. I need like a retreat where I can just go away for 2 months and not go away because I want all my stuff that's here. Everyone else go away, pressure go away, like schedules go away, bills go away, and I just stay. I want to stay here. I like all the stuff that I have in here, but I need a staycation to make music. You as well, Derek. Appreciate you so much, man. All right, let's keep it rolling. Also, y'all do me a huge favor. Make sure y'all are tapping the screen, like the live, share out the live, repost the live. Don't forget to send your heart me. It does really help out the live stream quite a bit. But let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. This is Embodied by Machine by Nova right here in the chat. Let's try to actually let me download this real quick because otherwise it's gonna get all stoppy, and we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. All right, let's get into it. Carla, welcome in. John Wilson, welcome in. Thanks for joining. Yeah, give it a second. It is downloading the wave. All right, it has been a long day. Let's get it rolling. Strong start. Vaughn, she got you. Sick. Nasty. Harmonics are great. Heavy. Gravity, welcome in. Man, y'all show some love. Show some love, show some love. That is Embodied by Machine by Nova right here in the chat. Nova, let the people know where you're at. Silent Club, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. That is the family. That is the family. I've heard a lot of music. I've heard a lot of music from Nova. Super, super talented producer, composer, just all the way across the board. Incredibly, incredibly talented. Aaron, welcome in as well. Appreciate you being here. Nova, let the people know where you are. Let the people know where you are. Let's get into it, man. Let's dive in from the top. They do plan on getting some vocals on here. So I don't know exactly where you're going for that, Nova, or if you are wanting to, if anybody who does vocals, if you're willing to get them on there, let people know. Or if you already have some stuff in mind, then of course let the chat know it as well. But let's run back through it, man. Let's get into it. This is Embodied by Machine by the family, by Nova, right here in the chat. Let's run it from the top. Let's dive into some of the details of it. Once again, if you would like to submit music, everything is at the link in my bio. So if you would like to submit for the consultations like we're doing here in the last couple songs, then everything, of course, is going to be in that vein. But let's run it, man. Y'all show some love to Nova. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling, keep it rolling. Embodied by Machine. Let's run it from the top. Here's my gut reaction really quick before I just started and stop it here. Gut reaction. I'm assuming you're using two different kits on here, like two different drums that you have. Most of them are. Boom, they're powerful, man. They're incredibly energetic. They sound crazy. Sean, welcome in. They sound crazy. They're really, really energetic, and most of the balancing of that is fantastic. Every once in a while, we switch back to, I think, just one of the acoustic kits. Like there's some layers of kick and snare, I think, in there that you're using to make it sound super beefy and really, really prominent, like kind of that hybrid between like a metal snare and a dubstep snare underneath it to give it that body and give it that weight. There's a couple times in here where I think we switched to just having maybe one of those snares in there and maybe just one of the kicks in there, and it makes the whole mix feel not just quieter, but dynamically it loses a lot of steam. And I want to look at those areas briefly when we get there as well. It's like in one of the transitions later on before we get into the biggest breakdown. There's a couple little pockets there. I don't mind the dynamic shifting. Obviously, I want the dynamics to shift. I want things to become, smaller in different areas so that we can feel those dynamics even more. But there's parts of it where it just sounds like the kick was just like turned down 8 dB, as opposed to it feeling like it is, still a very prominent part of the production, which I would love for it to still kind of feel like it's got some weight there. Let me see. It's like from game Doomslayer. I don't think I've heard it. I used two different drum tracks and mixed one to sound like dubstep, one to sound more metal. Yeah, 100%. So what I want to look at is there's probably some parts in here where when they're not working together, we probably need to automate the volume or amplitude or whatever it may be, right? We might need to automate one of those to push forward when it's working on its own and you're not layering both of them on like the hook or the breakdown of the song. That way, when it exists on its own, it's still fills some space. It still gives you some punch. It still gives you some energy here, without losing all the steam right there. Because when it sits on its own, it weakens the mix quite a bit. And I want to make sure you still get some prominence. You still get some weight there. What bands do you listen to? Absolutely any genre, any style, any language, any region. We're doing long form consultations. We're digging into the details of y'all's music. But yeah, any genre, any style, any level of quality or preparedness, released, unreleased. A lot of people send in works in progress, so that they can work on some stuff before they send it out. So on and so on. Yeah, it's crazy. It's unreleased right now. Embodied by Machine is the name of it. Embodied by Machine is the name of it. Okay, let's run it from the top. If anyone wants to submit your music, if you make music or you play a role in creating music, whether you're a producer, engineer, session musician, vocalist, songwriter, whatever it may be, if you play a role in making music, that's what this live stream is all about. If you would like to submit your music, there's a free line with an up to 2-minute play, and a quick note, or the bulk of what we're doing is these consultations, which are 20 to 30 minute, just like Miranda just said, 20 to 30 minute deep dive breakdowns into your music. So if you want to submit, all of that is there. Added more sustain to one drum kit to sound more like dubstep during the drop. Yeah, it sounds great. That's why I'm saying like the vast majority of this sounds so punchy. It's got so much weight, so much energy. Huge fan. Love what you're doing. There's just like maybe like 2 or 3 little spots where we lose that steam and we lose that energy. That's where I want to make sure that we fill it enough to where we don't lose any momentum in the song. Still gets, dynamically it still changes, but we don't lose momentum. Most of this sounds crazy. Fire. Miles in the building. What's up, Miles? I mean, most of this sounds really, really nice. Quick note on the synth, you know. So you have this. You have, you know, that the lead melodies you have from the synth there, and it's also followed by some of the muted guitars underneath. That little, there's, because of the palm mutes and some of the delay of attack that some of these guitars have because of the muting and the openness right there, there's a couple milliseconds of swing. Just quick note here. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but there is just a little bit of swing to a lot of that guitar structure right there. Funny enough, the bass growl sounds and the intro were made when working on a totally different song. I mean, it sounds great, dude. It sounds fantastic. But there's a little bit of swing that happens with those guitars. You might potentially want to play around with, on the synth side that maybe is a little bit more quantized, you might want to play around with moving it in and off the grid a little bit to line it up with the attack of the guitar a little bit more, since because of the mutes and releases of the mutes, it pulls it off the grid a little bit, which actually I like. I don't think it sounds bad in any sense at all. And the synth is doing some cool top line to that as well. But they're slightly different in timing, so it could be nice to just take those synths and either pull them forward in the grid or behind the grid to realign them with the slight level of swing that the guitars have naturally, just so you don't feel like the synth is like rushing by 10 milliseconds. It feels really in line with all of the energy of the other elements that you have there. That just like quick little note there. So everything feels sharp. It feels in line, just like everything else on the track already does. Yeah, I got you, Miles. On Instagram, right? Make a note here. Got you. I'm setting a reminder right now. Nasty. Link in my bio. Okay, let's get to these, because all this breakdown here sounds phenomenal. Sounds incredibly heavy. It sounds absolutely massive. Yeah, if y'all want to submit, link in my bio. Of course, what we're doing right now is a consultation side. So if this is what you're looking for, then make sure you submit for the consultation side. Yeah, any genre, any style, any level of preparedness or quality. Miles, thank you for the heart. I appreciate you so much, man. Okay, I want to get into the low dynamic moments so we can really find that. So in here a little bit. So even these, thank you for the finger hearts. I appreciate you so much, Miles, man. Thank you for the love. Even here, right, we go down to just one, and it's almost like a noise filter on there too, but it might just be the attack. The low kick right here as well. This is where like the mix itself feels quite a bit quieter overall, because there's not nearly as much like forward presence in the mix right here. A lot of things, now again, dynamically, I want it to change, but I still want to make sure there's like this anticipation. I still want to make sure that there's enough information in the mix to still hold you there. If it's too far back, then it will just feel like the whole mix gets quieter by 6 dB, as opposed to just different elements coming into the mix and it feeling more restrained. So this is where you might want to like still keep both layers on the roll, or automate in both layers on the roll, or something like that, in order to just lock it in. What is the terms of agreement part? I didn't see one. Oh, what do you mean? This may lean. What are you talking about? Part of that could be because I put a high pass filter on it to make the volume hit harder later. Yeah, let me see. Let me play it through a little bit later. So I love the idea of filtering out. I just still want the attack. Miles, thank you for the Go Populars, man. I appreciate you so much. I still want so if you're going to not only have the lower attack and like lower amplitude kick in there on this portion of the song, but you're also going to high pass, you are going to lose a lot of energy in the mix right here. You're gonna reduce the amount of energy that's happening in the mix, regardless of whether or not it hits hard later. So what I would do is probably still have when you submit a link, it says I have read and agreed to the terms and conditions. So probably something with the platform. I'd have to double check that. I don't have like the terms of like the source platform memorized necessarily. If you have any questions on like the platform or any questions on like the format of the stream or anything like that, let me know. But it would just be probably understanding that you're playing your music on a live platform. People are going to be hearing your song, whether it's released or unreleased and stuff like that. But I don't have like the actual like terms of the aux. I don't own aux cord or anything. I don't know the terms of their platform necessarily, but just most likely agreeing to the fact that your music is going to be played in a live environment, and so on and so on. So it's out there obviously for people to listen to. I would assume that's probably the core of it. So you can't like sue if your music is out there or something like that. Number 25. Yeah, let me know if you have questions as far as like the source of the live stream itself. But yeah, okay, so that's what I'm talking about, Nova, is like on that part there, I would probably still have, because Exactly. Keep the kick more forward, because the filter is going to reduce the energy of that transition regardless. So if you're going to do 2 or 3 things that are dramatically reducing the energy by not having it louder and filtering it out, you just don't get any drive there. There's no buildup that you really feel. It just kind of is in the background there. So if you're going to filter, keep it strong, because the filter is going to be the thing that gives you, once you open the filter back up and you have the strength and the power back in the mix again, that's going to be the effect that you're looking for. But make sure what is being filtered is a little bit stronger. It's one of the few things here that I think need to be addressed. Otherwise, man, it's a powerhouse mix. It's a powerhouse mix. It's a great production structure. You're crushing it, man. It's so good. It's nasty. It's nasty. It's nasty. Fantastic. Crazy. One problem I had when producing is I felt it doesn't have enough low end. Maybe it's just me. This has a healthy amount of low end. I wouldn't say, maybe it's what you're referencing on. I don't know necessarily what you're referencing on. To me, it's not necessarily missing any low end here. If you do feel like you just want, like, and that's just the way that I'm approaching here. If you do feel like you just need a little bit more edge, I would focus on doing it probably on very strategic elements, like maybe just the bass and just in like real low subharmonics. So add a Pultec or a more fine-tuned, more surgical EQ to adjust your bass itself. And then at like 60 hertz, just give it a little bit of weight. So if what you're missing is just subharmonics, it's just like weight, it's just like thickness right there, then just give it a little bit of weight at like 60 hertz, but don't do it on the master. Don't inflate everything, because it will just end up getting muddy and boomy whenever like the low end of the snare, low end of the guitars, low end of everything is like inflated right there. Go to particular elements that you feel like could use a little bit more drive, a little bit more weight, and give it a bit more presence in the mix. But I'm not hearing that this is in dramatic need of increased low end at all. I think there's a little bit of room for you to do that, but I wouldn't go too crazy. I'd be very, very, very strategic. Yeah, and again, that's also a taste thing. So like, I like the way that it sounds, but that doesn't mean it's like right or wrong, right? I'm one engineer, one audience member, you know what I mean? So I like the way that it sounds. If you as the artist, like, I just think it needs more punch. I have an idea in my brain and I'm not hearing that in the mix that I have right there, feel free to push it a little bit farther. That doesn't mean it's right or wrong just because I hear or don't hear something in particular that you would like to hear in the mix. So feel free to A and B it a little bit. You know what I mean? feel free to A and B it. Maybe, maybe have two mixes and go back and forth in the car or going back and forth in the headphones or whatever. And go back and forth between this one has a little bit more presence. This one has a little bit less low end, and kind of see back and forth what gets you the result that you want out of your mix. But man, show some love, y'all. JDRT, if you want to submit your music, everything's at the link in my bio. Everything is at the link in my bio. But man, show some love to the family. That is Nova right here in the chat. He produced that whole thing. An absolute monster of a producer. Absolute monster. Excuse me. Do me a huge favor, y'all. Of course, man. Of course. Do me a huge favor. Make sure y'all are liking the live. Share out the live. Make sure you're sending in your heart me for the day. It does really help out the stream. And if you would like to submit for the consultations like we're doing right now, or for the free line, of course, but especially for the deep dives, everything is at the link in my bio. Everything is at the link in my bio. Nova, thank you for the rose. I appreciate you a lot, man. I appreciate y'all's generosity. Kane, welcome in as well. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. But yeah, everything's at the link in my bio if you would like to submit your music. All right, we got Vanji in the building. Or if it's Vangi, let me know. I want to make sure that I say the name correctly. I just see what I have here. But I do want to make sure that I pronounce it correctly. Let me know where you're at in the chat. I do want to make sure that you're here for your breakdown. The only note that I have is honest opinion. But I want to make sure that you are present. Vanji, perfect. And Soul of Devon here in the chat. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's get it. So I have Explosions by Vanji. Would love some context, would love some details. Talk to me about the role that you play in your music. Whether you produce it, whether you mix it, whether it's a YouTube beat, whether it's a BeatStars release, whether you're working with session musicians, you're going to a studio, you're doing it at home. Talk me through some details. Give me some nuance on what you're doing to create your music, and let's get into it. But this is Explosions by Von G right here. Singer-songwriter and co-producer. Beautiful. Yeah, anything you want me to focus on, anything you want to let me or the chat know, drop it in the chat. It's your time. All right, let me give it a second. It's loading up. This is on YouTube, so I think this is released to all platforms. I have the topic on YouTube, so I'm assuming it's distributed. Let's dive in.
Young, dumb, afraid of the world around me, scared to survive, living life and happy. No cares in the world, cause I'm living lonely. Been waiting for someone to hold on to. Try again, put it in the brick room. Blue skies replace this old faded fool. I'm overpowered, the pain gets louder. I will never regret leaving you. I'm standing proud, as tall as a tower. Here and now, I'm the one in control.
Good voice, man. Who mixed it? Did you mix it?
So safe, get like a dungeon. Late night vibes, good conversation. Line that I can never live right again. Figure of my imagination. From the beginning to the end, it was all part of your plan. It was all part of your plan. Part of your plan. You cause explosion.
Okay, cool.
You cause explosion.
Nice, very cool.
You cause explosion. You cause explosions in my heart. You cause explosion. You cause explosions in my heart.
Y'all, show some love. Is it Robbie the Third or Roby the Third? Thank you so much for tapping in over on the Red app. If you want to submit your music, go to the link in the description over on YouTube, and you'll see everything that you need right there. Let's get into it. We got Vanji in the building. That is Soul of Devon right here in the chat. Explosions is the name of the song, and it is released. It is out on all platforms. We've got more versions coming. Let's go, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's dive in. Let's get into some of the details here. Now, I'll talk about a couple details here. I want you to obviously to keep in mind that, and for anyone to keep in mind, the song is released. It's already out. So I'm going to speak to the song that's here because it's what's in front of me. But mainly, I want you to take some of the things that we talk about and apply it into future records, less so than, feeling like you need to fix the things that are happening in this song. So some things you can kind of keep in mind when you're building production structure later on. But obviously, this song is done. It's out. It's ready to go. You're promoting it. You're doing your thing. So I don't want you to feel like they're all just necessarily critiques of the song. It's more so things that I would love to hear at a future record when it comes to like your vocal production, song structure, and stuff like that. But man, please show some love. 6Dub in the building. What's up, 6Dub? Please show some love to Soul right here in the chat. Show some love to Vanji. Once again, the song is out on all platforms, so please go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go follow on DSPs, follow on social media, go boost their algorithm, show some love and support. It's not an easy thing to put out your music. It is a vulnerable thing, and it also is a stressful thing because it's really difficult to get traction. So any way that you can help these artists, especially any artist, any producer that gets on this stage and promotes their music, definitely show them some love and support. Go help them boost their algorithm, all that fun stuff. So let's get into it. Explosions by Vanji. Let's run it from the top. Let's run it from the top. And you got a beautiful voice, man. This is a beautiful song structure here as well. Let's run it. Let's run it.
Young, dumb, afraid of the world around me, scared to survive, living life and happy. No cares in the world, cause I'm living lonely. Been waiting for someone to hold on to. Try again, win it in the break rule. Blue skies
At the link in my bio. Welcome in.
I'm overpowered. The pain gets louder. I will never regret leaving you. I'm standing proud.
It's good, really, really good repetition of this melody. Repetition of the melody right there is exactly what I wanted to hear. Exactly what I wanted to hear. So great job in building that early song structure right there.
I'm standing proud, as tall as a tower. Here and now, I'm the one in control.
Okay. So is this where? So honestly, one of the main things. What's up, Shane? Welcome in. Black on me, welcome in as well. Everything's at the link in my bio. You can see both lanes right there, the consultation side, which is what we're doing right now, where we're going back through the song. We're digging into the details of it. That's what the consultation side is. So if you want to submit there, that's what we're doing here. But everything's at the link in my bio. Shane, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I got notified that I had pictures from you, so I'm going to double check those here soon as well. Either tonight or maybe tomorrow morning. But I'm assuming this is your hook, or affirm or confirm or not that this is like your hook right here, because there's the explosions tag later. But I think this is kind of what dynamically feels like your hook. Okay, pre-hook build up, got you. So this part here is the hook. That little, that to me, I guess, that little pocket right there, I'm assuming is the hook. Just that little explosions tag, and that's what happens later on. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna, now this is where it's gonna get confusing, but I'm going to chop through different parts of the song. I'm going to go to the end, go back to the beginning, go to here. I'm going to chop around for a second here, because the main thing that let me tell you what I'm hearing and what I'm thinking, and then I'm going to kind of find it in the song, and we can address it a little bit here. Matt, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. What I'm hearing on first listen of the song is slightly confusing song structure, just where the amount of like repetition of melodies or consistent lyric structure or consistent melody and consistent phrasing, and the way that they're like presented in the song, to me doesn't feel the most consistent. Now it sounds good. You have a great voice. It's a good production, and a pretty good balance to those elements as well. But what I'm hearing is it's a little bit hard to remember. It's a little bit hard to latch onto, just because there's so many different melody changes and so many different like phrasing changes, and also complemented by the fact that you have a lot of different melodies happening in your ad libs as well. Sometimes even two ad-libs happening at the same time doing different melodies. So we'll have like a lead vocal singing a melody. So sometimes like three distinct different phrases, different melodies, different vocal runs happening all at the same time. That happening throughout the course of the song and the structure not feeling really solidified is not that it doesn't sound good sonically, that it doesn't sound good. It will just be really challenging for people to remember, to latch onto, to relate to, just because there's not the pattern recognition that you would typically want to make sure that it's really clean and clear where people are in the song. That's like the one detail that I'm listening to. It has much less to do with with the quality of the song itself, or the quality of the recording and the mix and the way that the production was built out. I mean, because I really do like your progressions and a lot of the production build out, but the structure of it, I think, is going to be one of the limiting factors to it sticking, and people, remembering the song later. They might hear it for the first time and like love the way that it sounded and love your performance, but will there be that hook? Will there be that earworm later on where they're doing the dishes and they can remember that melody because there's the structural, repetition and stuff like that. Samuel, welcome in. Rito, it's good to see you as well, man. I hope you're doing amazing. Okay, let's dive into a couple things here. So now I'm going to chop around, but that's what I'm listening for. And that's what I want to kind of figure out here in the background too. Okay, so I'm going to listen for your first verse here.
Living life and me scared to survive. Of the world around me, scared to survive. Living life and that be no cares in the world, cause I'm living lonely.
That's the melody structure I'm listening for. So I'm gonna go past your hook here. Okay, so we do have some repetition there. Thank you for the follow. Good structure there.
My imagination, from the beginning to the end, it was all part of your plan.
So it's these moments. Again, sounds good. Beautiful layers. It's these pre-moments. That's why I wanted to jump around a little bit, because I'm like, okay, I think you do have a good hook here, and you do have some consistent phrasing for your verses. It's the pre, where I was wondering, it's like, wait, is that part of the hook? And you said it was the pre. It's those moments here. So it's the lead up to the first one, which jumps dynamically, has a very specific melody structure here. And then your second pre is just a full 8 measures of ad-libs and multiple different ad-libs. So the thing that I'm always kind of, I'm trying to keep in mind, right, especially when I'm talking with people about building their song structure and stuff like that, is what do you want people to sing with you? I think that's a question that a lot of people need to ask more often, is when you are writing a song, when you're producing a song, when you're building out a song structure, how do you want your fans, your audience, because that's what we're trying to build here, what do you want them to be engaged with, and what do you want them to be doing, right? And if people have to keep kind of taking a backseat to the song to just kind of hear where it goes and kind of figure it out, you're going to start to lose some of that connection with your fan base, that connection to the message a little bit. So changing the pre each time, you have a very simple hook, beautiful, love it. Very simple hook, good production structure. Verses are fairly complex lyrically and rhythmically. Nothing wrong with that. That's not a negative thing. It's just a fact of the song structure. So you have two different verses that are fairly complex in their rhythm and fairly, they have a pretty fair amount of lyric structure there, which is not bad because you have a good simple hook. But then you also have one pre-hook that is another set of 8 measures of different lyrics and different melodies, and then another pre-hook, and that separate pre-hook is some lyric structure, but also just 2 or 3 different vocals doing ad-libs and build up to the hook again, where we go through the repetition again. In my mind, if I love not going to a pre-hook again on the second time through your verse. I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great thing to have, where you limit your song structure a little bit to cut the fat, songwriting wise, and get into the next section of the song a little bit stronger. What I would do is I would do that a lot faster than you did, so there's not as much space to build up. Because otherwise, what happens is you just kind of lose people in that moment, right? So as soon as you start doing crazy ad libs, the vast majority of people can't do all these crazy ad libs. It doesn't mean they can't exist in there, but we probably need to be more concise with how we execute them. So that there's not 30 seconds of these vocal runs and ad libs that no one can be a part of. Because then, once again, like I was saying, even if it sounds amazing, and it does, you have an awesome voice, people have to take a back seat to the song for 30 seconds till this section gets done, because there's no consistency with the way that you do those ad libs and the way that you do those vocal runs, even though they're amazing. So what I'm thinking of here is, I'm going to back it up here for a second. I see you over in the Red app. Thanks for tapping in. At the description of the live stream, you'll see a link right there. Just tap that link and you'll see the submission form right there pop up for you. Okay, I'm going to go into the section here. I'll tell you what I would, again, I mean this less as a correction for this song and more of what I would try to look for in the future. Because, dude, you're awesome. Like, seriously, you have an awesome voice. Y'all are obviously great producers. I like the progression. I like the feel of the song. You're doing so many things well. So many things well. So I just want to consolidate certain elements here, or get your creative wheel spinning for the next record that you're working as well, because you're obviously talented. Both of y'all, obviously talented. Okay, so here in this section here. Two, three, this should be hook, right? Okay, I'm gonna back it up to the first part here. So all this in here. Again, awesome voice, but what you probably, is all part of your plan. Is all part of your plan. And it's hook right there. You know what I mean? It's like one time through the G here, A2, 1/3. One time through that, boom, hook. You cause explosions. And we're right back into the hook right there, and it's sharp. That right there, for one, saves you 15, 20 seconds of the song. You know, it consolidates the format there a little bit, but it still gives you an opportunity to do some of those ad libs, do some of those vocal runs here, but not let them go on so long that people have to step back from the song and just wait till their part again. You want to keep people, whether this is like a rap song with a hook, whether it's an R&B record, whether it's a worship song, whether it's a country record, metal record, you want people to be as engaged with the song as possible. So anytime that we go too long in allowing people to like engage with the song, people start to tune out a little bit, and you want them to be locked in. So that's why I'm saying most of this has very little to do with your ability as a vocalist, your ability as a songwriter. You have a great hook, you have consistent melodies in your verses. It's these pre's and the consistency between the two that, to me, is going to make it just more challenging for people to connect to it, more challenging for people just to remember it. Again, it's more, a lot of this is just psychological. It's pattern recognition. It's the complexity of how these melodies changes and how that affects people's ability to remember a song on a first pass. It's why most rap songs that we love, like, and really any genre, but even just in the rap genre, there might be incredibly complex, verses and stuff like that with a lot of lyric structure, but you'll have a really like simple, snappy hook that is so easy to remember that you won't forget the song, and you'll give you some time to want to go back and remember some of these other elements. You have repetition in your verses, but they're also pretty complex melodically and rhythmically. And then, of course, the hook itself is really simple. Clouds, welcome in. I see you. Thanks for tapping in. That's, to me, that structural detail right there is one of the few things that I would address in this, because you obviously are talented, very talented. You got a great voice, man. Really, really great voice. I mean, the song structure feels open. It feels emotional. It feels really well structured as far as like where you're putting some of these elements. I would just get a little bit more fine-tuned with some of the filler things that are happening, and make sure you don't give people a chance to step back from the song too much. Sundry, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it a lot. I lost sleep last night now, knowing the Pauly D now re-triggers on every key press. It's like, damn, it sucks. It does suck, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's still a phenomenal. I mean, it's a $600 synth, $700 synth, or whatever they go for now. It's hard to find something that does what the Pauly D does for cheaper than that. So it's still probably the best synth you can buy for that price, or one of the best synths that you can buy for that price, if you're looking for like a paraphonic synth or a monophonic synth. Like, it does such a great job. So I wouldn't be too down about it. It is a pretty fantastic synth. I wish it could not re-trigger the oscillators or re-trigger the envelopes again. Clouds, I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing well. Thank you for tapping in over on Twitch. I appreciate you being here. Okay, let's get into this last little section here really quick.
Explosions in my heart. You cause explosions. You cause explosions in my heart. You cause explosions.
Because even and again, I'm not trying to harp on this too much, but I hope ideally, obviously, I hope it's helpful because man, you're talented. God, such a good voice. Just good texture, good energy behind your vocal performance too. So much emotion. But even within the consistency of the hook, there's a lot of melody changes and ad-libs. There's a lot of even changing to your ending melodies to your vocal structure there and stuff like that. Again, they don't sound bad. That's not the thing that I'm saying. They don't sound bad. They're more challenging for people to connect to and learn and relate to. So that's kind of like the main overarching point is you're obviously very, very talented, super, super, super talented vocalist and writer. I would love for it to be a little bit easier for people to grab onto the song, learn it, make it their own, be able to sing it within like a listen or two, be able to sing big portions of the song. And I think if you have that in your song structure, man, your music will just get more traction so much faster because the replay value is so much higher.
You cause explosions in my heart. You cause explosions. You cause explosions in my heart.
I love the progression. I absolutely love the progression. So much of the energy behind the song. Man, show some love. Hoopy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Please show some love. That is Vanji. The song is called Explosions, man. Amazing voice, good writing for the most part, really solid like song formatting. Song formatting is really, really strong. It's some of those little details in there that I would love to tighten up just a little bit. But man, a really, really talented artist. That is Explosions by Vanji. Really, 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 really talented, man. I can't wait just to hear where you go with your music, man. Absolutely phenomenal. So y'all show some love. Explosions by Vanji. It is out on all platforms, so please go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, show them some love and support, go boost their music, boost their algorithm. We got live stuff coming from them. We've got acoustic versions of the song and so on coming from them as well, or coming from their camp as well. So definitely show some love and support. Link in the bio. If you don't see it, Hoobie, it's usually a regional issue. It just happens every once in a while for some reason in certain regions. So if you don't see it, just go to my Instagram, same name, Torvik Music, and you'll see the same link over there, or you can join Twitch or YouTube, also same name. The links are there as well. You can find them in different places over there as well. If you would like to submit your music, everything's at the link in my bio. Everything's at the link in my bio. Right now, we're in consultation mode. We're diving deep. We're getting into the details here. Let me refresh over here really quick and make sure I've got everything that I need. We got Anamoya up next. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Anamoya, hop in the chat. Let me know that you are here. Oh, it actually says it right there in the note. I just saw it. Yeah, I am saying good. Anamoya in the building. Matt Richards, beautiful. Let's go. Okay, let's dive in. And then again, once again, if you want to submit your music, we have 2 lanes. We have a free line for up to 2-minute listen on your song. And then if you are on the consultation side, that is a 20 to 30-minute multiple listen deep dive into the structure of your music. If you want to dive into the mix, production, sound design, lyric, and song structure, you want to get into the nuances of what you're doing, all of that is what is happening on the consultation side. And for those of you who don't know, really quickly, my name's Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done that for the last 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained pianist, so that is kind of the structure of the live. The perspective of the live is just to offer some specific actionable feedback on the structure of your music. We're not here to roast you. We're not here to give you exposure. We're not here to tear you down or anything like that. We're here to really get into the details of your music. Mainly looking for drum tips if possible, mostly for me, but overall would be amazing. Okay, our second latest track, shoegaze / noise rock band from Dublin, band pronounced Anamoya. Beautiful. Let's get into it. And let's see. Beautiful. And I'm assuming, Matt, that you're the drummer in the band based on what you're telling me. But any other details, of course, feel free to drop it in the chat. All right, this is Cowboy by Anamoya. Perfect. I love that 6/8, but it's got a little bit of an interesting accent. It's good. I like it. you. Submit to the free line, Chris. I'll push you up. Got you. Senko. What's up, Senko? Cool feel. I like this a lot. How are you tracking drums right now? Talk to me a little bit about that. What are you using? What's your environment like? How many mics? Stuff like that. Let's go. I like this a lot. I like this feel a lot. It does have this like classic, like 90s, early 2000s shoegaze feel that I feel like is really in line with what you're telling me y'all want to do. Fantastic. Let's get into it. We're going to dive into some of the details here. Of course, you're the drummer here. I love talking about drums. It's one of my, in fact, I'm getting a new drum set very, very, very soon. I think I'm ordering it tonight. I hope. I think I'm ordering the new kit and cymbals tonight. Using usually snare top, bottom, tom tops, and bass in and out. Okay, cool. So all directs. Are you also doing large room usually with a hall mic? Cole, we're on right now. We're breaking down right now. Everything's at the link in my bio for anybody that wants to submit. Everything's at the link in my bio. Okay, so you've got a full. Are you doing stereo overheads as well, or just room for capture and then direct mics? It's one thing that I'm kind of curious about. I tend to track shell and cymbals separate. Okay, got you. Okay, so you're doing like individual direct mics. Nice. Okay, and then overheads. Beautiful. So pretty locked in for direct. And then using a lot of your wash and stuff separately. Okay, beautiful. Okay, P&L, stop spamming the chat. If you spam, you will get muted, and I don't want that to happen. I want you to be able to contribute. Yeah, everything's at the link in my bio. Something like 30 minutes ago, I was just checking my spot in the queue. Yeah, you can always see yourself in the queue. If you're still there, you haven't been heard yet. Okay, but use overall kit as effects. Okay, cool. Sounds good. So, a lot of, especially if you have like almost like smash mics or something like that, and you're just squashing them and distorting them, saturating them really heavily and stuff like that. Okay, let's get into it. Yeah, if anybody wants to submit, everything's at the link in my bio. And I'll take a handful more songs today. All right, let's run it from the top. This is Cowboy by Anamoya, but I like the feel a lot. Let's dive into it. Yeah, it's cool. I like it a lot. Oh, really quick, Chris, did you submit? Let me double check for you real quick. I need to push you up too. Yes, I see you. Beautiful. All right, boom. Oops, not that. Jesus. There we go. Boom. Okay, you should be. You double check for me just to confirm. But you should be in line, ready to go. And of course, if you want to move, you still can. But I got you straight back up there with your current song and current information there. You should be ready to go. Okay, let's run it. I'm gonna get this moving here. And then who mixed this as well, really quick, Matt? Let me know. Or like, was it someone in the band, or y'all sent it to a studio or sent it to an engineer? Okay, cool. Nice. Instrumentally, it has a really cool feel where we have this wall of sound. It's fuzzy, it's driven, it's got a lot of energy to it. One thing that we'll talk about drums, of course, because I know it's one of the main things, reasons why you sent it in. But one thing that I do want y'all to look out for when on the mixing side is making sure that that vocal doesn't come in too thin or too brittle over the top end. Because I think some of what's happening is there's a lot of information in the middle of the mix, like the mid frequencies of the mix. So, double tracked guitars, lead guitars over the top. Obviously the drums, you're getting all of this wash and all of this spread from the drums. Everything sounds, vibrant and sounds energetic. But once the vocals come in, what it sounds like in the way that it kind of gets manifested in the mix is that there's not a lot of room for the vocal in the mix because the production itself is so vibrant, which is great. You want a vibrant production. But all of this information is sitting in a similar pocket to where the vocal is. The lead guitars, and of course the double tracked electrics on the other side as well, and then drums underneath that. And then those are also reflected. So you have all of that energy in the mids, and they're also then carried by a 5-second modulated hall reverb. You know what I mean? Which is, again, very typical of the genre, but you got to be really careful with it because it can create a lot of buildup of frequency in the middle of the mix. And then there's just no room for the vocal. So then what happens is you end up thinning out the vocal too much and over brightening the vocal to just kind of slice it in over the top of the mix because it's the only place that you can get it to cut through. What I would love to hear in this, and maybe there is some of this going on. It can just kind of be compartmentalized a little bit better, or it can just be carved a little bit more surgically. Would be some mid side EQ from the vocal to the production. So what I would do is, largely speaking, mainly guitars, but you're getting some washed from the cymbals as well that are adding to this. But what I would do is I would send if you haven't already, or the engineer already haven't, send all of these guitars to a bus. You have a guitar bus that handles all of the guitars in the entire track. You could have multiple that do different things, but send all of the guitars to a guitar bus, and on that guitar bus have a mid-side EQ. And then what I would do, in order to have a really wide, really open, really powerful mix on the guitars, I would actually carve in the middle channel, because we're going to do mid-side. On the middle channel, on the mid channel, I would carve some frequency where the fundamentals of the vocal lie for the most part. Between like 600 and 1200 hertz, 600 and 1000 hertz, but I'd probably go about between 600 and 1200 hertz. In that little pocket right there, I would carve some space only in the center channel, because largely speaking, the guitars are double tracked and they're pushed wide, but there's still a lot of information in the middle, and that's where the vocal sits. The vocal's right here. Since those guitars are operating in a very similar space to the vocal, we're going to carve some space only in the center of the mix on that EQ. And then on the side channel of that same EQ, we're going to add that frequency back in so the guitars feel super wide, super washed out and overdriven, but there's still like space and clarity and separation for that vocal in the middle of the mix. So one of the things that I feel like I'm missing is like it's like everything everywhere all at once, whatever that movie, right? Like it's everything everywhere, and so there's no clarity or distinction between the elements, and so they all kind of are fighting for your attention, although they sound really good. Again, like I love the tone of the guitars, and even drum wise, I'm not mad at what I'm hearing at all. Vocal wise, I really like what I'm hearing. Cookie Cook, thanks for the follow. But mid side is going to be the way that you're going to regain some of that clarity. Send all of your drums to a bus, send all of your guitars to a bus, and there very strategically, I'm going to carve space out of the middle and then introduce that same 600 to 1200 hertz, or maybe even higher, and then push that into the side channel so that you pull space out, but you don't lose any information from the guitars. They're all still there, or the drums. They're all still there. Crohn's Keen, everything's at the link in my bio. Everything's at the link in my bio. To when you'll be streaming, because it's almost 6 a.m. where I am, and I'm 29th in the queue. I'll be on for like another hour or so. Probably, about another hour. Hey, no worries at all. Yeah, go to the link in my bio, and then everything is right there. Exactly, Chris, appreciate you. Okay, so that's one thing, is we can regain some clarity. And then the result of that, Matt, would be that instead of fighting for that vocal to be over the top, and instead of really trying to force it over the top of the mix, you'll be able to regain some presence and body from that vocal, because right now it's really thin. You'll be able to bring back some low mids. You'll be able to, soften some of there's a big high push at the top of the vocal to make it really bright and brittle, which is, again, also creating some harshness, but you kind of have to have it to force it there. You can soften some of that. The vocal will sound especially in this genre. It'll sound warmer. It'll sound easier to listen to. It'll sound chiller and moodier and less like digitally forced over the top of the mix, which is what you want. Like with this genre, you want that really airy, spacious, laid back kind of halftime loose groove feel. You want it to feel really natural. And so anytime you have to like force something in the mix, whether it's like EQ, compression, and something feels over restrained, you can really sense it. You can feel it in the mix that something is not quite coming to life in the mix. So if you do give some space to the vocal, it's gonna give you a little bit more room to work with it and make it sound a little bit more full and easier to listen to, which I think will be great. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about drums a little bit and let's get into it. Thanks for the follow, John. I mean, good pocket, man. Good pocket, solid. Like you hear how, and again, I'm back to the vocals, but you hear how like the vocals are kind of just, you can hear that they exist there, but you don't really get any information from them. Like I can't hear not that you don't necessarily want super legible lyrics here for the most part. It can drown a little bit. It can be washed out a little bit, but you're really not getting any of the vocal in the mix. You kind of just hear like the top end of it and that words are changing, but you can't really feel anything that's happening there. That the mid side will help with that. It'll regain some separation there. But drum structure wise, you're doing a great job, man. Honestly, there's a lot of things that I really like about this. Solid pocket, good movement, good ghost notes. Like everything is really consistent. I'm gonna go back actually towards this early part here. You can hear the drums a little bit better. Okay, so really quick on the one of the few things that I'm listening for. Honestly, your drum, especially in this genre, this is not like an overproduced genre. In fact, you want it to feel pretty grungy, and pretty raw, pretty organic. So I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. That's a lot of what we're hearing here. I really don't mind a lot of your drum tone. One of the few elements that to me feels a little bit restricted and maybe tonally could change slightly is the kick. I don't mind. I mean, your snare is pretty raw. I mean, we could, it could potentially have a little bit more snap and a little bit more energy. Maybe another couple dB on snare bottom to maybe give it a little bit more life. That's everyone has a different taste with stuff like that. But I'm not really mad at a lot of the tonal qualities of your percussion. The kick to me is the one that feels like the most restricted. Some of it I think is probably the compression on the kick as well. I can kind of sense it just being yanked back a little bit. So I'm getting some attack. It's like a fairly fast attack EQ or compression, it seems like, where I get some of the click, I get some of the transients of the kick, and then it's super suppressed pretty quickly. It doesn't really allow it to kind of jump into the mix as much as I would like to. And it also seems, I think you said you have kick in and out. I think it's biased towards in a little bit. So like in is going to get a little bit more batterhead. It's going to get a little bit more attack from your mallet. And on the outside, you're going to get a little bit more of like the low end information and a little bit more of like the wind that's coming out of your port and stuff like that. I would maybe, and again, this depends on how this manifests in the mix, but I would maybe bias a little bit more the other direction because right now I'm hearing largely like just like the attack, but we're not getting a lot of like energy out of the kick. We're not getting a lot of life out of the kick drum here. So right now it feels like it's maybe biased a little bit more towards batter, and maybe we could reprocess slightly so it's not just kind of transient and kind of tinny on on the top end of the kick, and we get a little bit more low end information, a little bit more weight, a little bit more drive behind it. You can even then like saturate that really tastefully. And then I would also slow down, depending on how it's processed, maybe slow down a little bit of the attack on the compression on the kick as well. It feels like, and this could just be the attack of the batter head, but it feels like it's getting grabbed really fast. And maybe it's not, right? Like I said, it could just be the way that it's mic'd and the way that it's hit. But it feels like it's getting restrained really quickly. So we're not allowing more of that information to kind of come into the mix. I would maybe slow down the attack just a little bit, and maybe still keep a pretty fast release. So you can hit the next kick lines in there pretty quickly, and not have to worry about it pumping too much in the mix. But a slight slowing down of the attack could help loosen some of the restraint that's happening on the kick, and maybe biasing towards kick out a little bit more as opposed to kick in. So you're not just getting kind of the snap of the head, but you get more of that like warm, full feel from the kick drum. Like we were saying, same with the snare, right? Like we're getting more fullness from like the body of the snare. And this also can be like, and I do kick up and down sometimes, or I'm sorry, snare up and down too sometimes. But lately I have been focusing more on kick to, I keep saying kick, focusing more on snare top and snare positioning. I just on the, or it's behind me, it has a synth on it right now, but I have a Mapex 8-inch snare back. It's a 14 by 8 or 8.5, something like that. And I switched out the snares, changed the heads, and just doing that and like tuning properly and then mic positioning, I can get such a thick sound from that, like such a full, vibrant sound from that. And it might not always be the goal, right? But I have a lot more control over the sound of the snare now just by switching the heads, switching the snares, tuning it well, and then the mic placement of the top one. So for the last like couple months, if I need a snare bottom, I'll do a snare bottom with just like another 57 or something. But a lot lately, I've just been really messing around with like the exact snare that I'm using and the positioning of the mic to gain or lose a little bit of like body out of the snare sound. And man, I feel like I've just regained so much more control, and I'm not trying to do anything that maybe is causing any other issues. I don't have as much to mess with. What's up, DTSK? Good to see you, man. But anyways, all of that to say, obviously you keep a snare bottom. I know a lot of people use a snare bottom and it works. It works a lot of times. I just haven't been doing it nearly as much lately, just because I found that the positioning of the top mic has given me more control over the sound than not perfecting the top mic and having to try to feed in a bottom mic to hopefully give it a little bit more weight. Another option, sorry, we're harping on this a lot, but another option too is like with your secondary mics, do a lot, 57 top, 58 bottom when I'm recording. It makes sense. It works. Nothing wrong with that. Is doing a little bit more with your bottom, with your like peripheral microphones, right? Like your room mic, a smash mic, a floor mic, crotch mic, shell mic, whatever. Like these peripheral mics that are not your direct mics or your stereo overheads, which is like, to me, that's like your foundation, right? Your direct mics themselves, especially tops and ends for your kick and stuff like that, kick and snare, your direct mics and your stereo overheads, or however you're processing overheads. Those like as your foundation, the peripheral mics that would be like your rooms, your hall mic, your bathroom mic over here, shell mic, bottom mic, stuff like that, or even just like trash mics that you just like put on the floor and you just crush it. Doing a little bit more to those sometimes can give you more character and more range to push into the mix. So if you do focus on snare top you get it as close to exactly as you want it as possible. And then with your bottom mic, have a little fun with it. Obviously make sure it's in phase and whatever, have a little fun with it and just crush it. Like put a distressor on it, crush it with compression, give it a big bass boost and distort it, or, put some tape saturation on there, or like, I love Decapitator for stuff like this, but saturate it really well and then barely have it there. But it's just this like thud and this energy and this weight underneath it. You're not using it as just like a tonal gap for the snare where it's like you have your top and your bottom and you're trying to find a balance between the two. Your top sounds amazing. Top sounds absolutely fantastic. And then from there, you just feed in the character that you want from one of the other ones without it being anything too crazy. Anyways, I've had more fun with that lately, and I feel like gotten more out of my sound by making more creative decisions with my peripheral microphones and just making sure that those direct mics are as sharp as possible. And they feel really, really solid. Okay, I want to push into the song a little bit more. Let's get into this outro here. But yeah, the kick and snare for me, we're gonna crunch my pedals. in recent rehearsals, it's been good. Yeah, it's fun to just have other stuff and have other options just to do interesting things with. They just give you another image of your performance, right? Another image, another bias of your performance, and it's fun to just have those, right? But again, I would bias towards your directs. And don't not that you are. I'm just saying this as a rule. It's a rule that I do within my own recording. Um, but make sure that you don't use the peripheral mics, these extra mics, as a crutch where you're like, I know I don't have to like do these other things as ideally because I can feed in some other textures and it might fix some of the problems like of this thinness that's happening or whatever. Try to get those those direct mics in your overheads as polished as possible, and then feed in character more than band-aids. You know what I mean? Like I said, not that you are, but I'm just kind of preaching to myself at the same time, where I can tend to do that sometimes. We're like, oh, these direct mics, they're kind of doing whatever. I know the overheads are going to sound fine, so I'll just feed in more overheads and then boost the bass mic a little bit more. And I've found better success with cleaner, more dynamic recordings of just like, man, get it right, get the mics right, check their cohesion, of course, and make sure that you're mitigating the issues as much as possible early on. But let me get into this last section here. Just need to figure it out of recording. Through usually fuzz, reverb, and delay. Okay, so you're doing some stuff like you're printing some stuff straight through, which is that's awesome, dude. I love that. That to me is more interesting. That's why I have like a lot of these. I mean, I love synths, is kind of my thing. But one of the reasons why I like having all this stuff here because I like printing the things that I'm working on and making stronger decisions in my tracking process. It's something that I've really really enjoyed lately. Is not waiting for processing or waiting for post or waiting for a mix engineer or anything like that. It's like make strong decisions and print early. With like really bold things. So I love that you're like tracking through some pedals. I love that you're making interesting decisions that way. I just think that's just a more creative way to approach your art than be like, let me just track some bullshit. And then on the other side, I know I can probably fix some things, like that to me, it really limits your creativity because you don't have to commit to anything. You don't have to like make any strong choices. And I love that you're doing some level of that at all. Michelle, good to see you. Thank you for the heart. Me appreciate it. Okay, let me get into this last section here. But yeah, y'all are awesome, man. Y'all are awesome. I would love a little bit better clarity from the vocal every once in a while, but for the most part, I think y'all are doing a great job. Honestly, like most of the sonics here, I think sound so cool. Thank you for the follow. If we had just a hair more weight out of the kick and snare right there, because obviously the guitars and everything here, they're washing like crazy. The overhead sound, cymbals and stuff, I think sound great. I mean, those are working really well. If we had just a little bit more edge from the kick and snare right there, I think this mix would, in the vocal, for me, like the non-negotiables of a lot of the mix here, kick, snare, and vocals had a little bit more energy to them. I think y'all be in a great spot, man. And obviously already y'all are in a great spot. It's a really, really great record. It's like well structured. It's well written. Great pocket on your production all the way through. Tone is great on the guitars. The vocal is interesting and emotional and engaging. Like you're doing all of those things really, really well. I love a lot of the looseness of the structure here. Y'all show some love. Yeah, this is great, man. It's really, really cool. Show some love to Matt Richards right here in the chat. Appreciate what you do so much, man. Y'all are very, very talented, man. Another great band in here, man. Really, really cool. So I love the style of music too. I love this feel. I think y'all are doing a fantastic job. That is Cowboy by Anamoya. Show them some love and support. Its song is out, so please go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist. Go give them a boost, go give them some love. Thank you so much for sending this in, Matt. I appreciate you so much, man. Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. All love from this end as well. Thank you so much for tapping in today. We got Saladella, I believe. I think I'm saying that correctly. Saladella, if you're in or if I'm saying that wrong, please correct me. Hop in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Overload explores our complicated relationship. Okay, good. I can butcher it sometimes, so I'm going to do my best to get your name correct. Overload explores our complicated relationship with modern media, the push and pull between getting lost in it and seeing it clearly when you step back. Love it. Love it. Amy from Thaladella, and shoegaze alt rock band from Scotland, and this is our debut single. Wait, hold on. Wasn't the last song? Hold on 1 second. Wait, where were y'all from? Hold on. I got to see the note here real quick. Ireland. Y'all are from Ireland. I was like, wait, hold on. Because it's so funny because the last artist, Matt, who was just in here, the drummer for Anamoya, there was like, this is our second latest track, shoegaze noise rock band from Dublin. I was like, wait, hold on, where were they from? I was like, hold on 1 second. This sounds like a very similar kickstart to the same thing. Okay, let's run it. Let's run it. Let me go back over here real quick. Andrew, which one is yours? You can always see the line. You can always, just so y'all know as well, you can always keep your eye on the cues. You can kind of see where you're at. Always keep your eye on the queue. So if you go to the submission form, you'll see a tab that says see the queue, and right there you'll be able to see the line the whole time. Oh, Lovesick. Yeah. There's one in front of you right now. I've got Thaladella and Exo Lovesick. I've got Chris, and I have Normac on the bill as well. All right, let's get it going so I can get through these. In a. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, but feel free to check the line at any point. No worries at all. Feel free to check the line at any point. If you click see the queue, you can always see where you're at in the line and decide if you want to move forward, decide if you want to go faster or anything like that. All right, let's get into it. I'm excited to hear this. Any details? Okay, and I'm guessing this is your debut single, Overload. I'm guessing, Amy, that you're the vocalist. Let me know, of course, confirm. And then also first time working with an engineer. Let's go. Fantastic. Yeah. Any other details you want me to know? I love context. I love details. First time working with an engineer. Beautiful. Let's go. Hold on. As well as the lead vocal, or just the backgrounds? Let's go. Very cool. Really cool feel. I like this. tone is awesome. Is that your harmony in the background? Is that your harmony? So good, so good. Nice. Really, really cool. Man, we got some great bands and great music today. Please show some love, show some love, show some love. That is Thaladela right here in the chat. Please go follow their page. Obviously, the song is out, so go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist. Go boost their algorithm, show them some love and support. But yeah, give it up one more time, Amy. Thank you so much for sending this in. I appreciate it. Yeah, love this. I mean, it's one of the things that I love about shoegaze, is that I love about this genre and subgenre, is that you have so much space and so much openness and so much vibrancy. I love just the reflection, the environmental noise and stuff like that. It's so fun. It's so great to listen to. So easy, so chill. I'm absolutely love it. So y'all, please show some love. Let's run it back from the top. Let's talk through a couple details here. But I think in this space and in this genre too, it's a pretty good mix too. I think they did a good job. There's a couple things I'm going to listen for. Not that I necessarily think they're wrong yet, but I'm listening for a couple quick details. But I think y'all did a great job. It's a good song, and I feel like the style and y'all's identity is represented in this. This very much sounds like you, sounds like your sound. And I think that's a great thing. You're not just copying and pasting something else, but you really do have a core identity, especially in the vocal structure, that I think is really, really nice to listen to. So let's run it from the top. I'm going to listen for some stuff in the percussion, some clarity things, but man, really, really well done. What are you using for that pad? The modulation is really, really nice. So you have this, what it sounds like it may be a very fast rate, low range LFO or something like that in the background, with some really, one of the oscillators maybe detuned a pretty fair amount. But it's got a really nice, weird modulated sound that I like a lot. I think you said you're the keys player, right? So this sounds awesome. All right, let me back it up a little bit. I want to listen for this drum here really quick. But I love that pad. Love that pad. The bending in it, the kind of portamento that you have there is fantastic. I love it. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, as much as I have a lot of synths, and I love, man, I've been playing synths my whole life. Like, I love that stuff. There's a time and place to just do it in the box too. Like, I mean, I've used plugins all the time. Even like stock stuff, and like working from a preset and editing it to make it kind of fit the song structure and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I love it. If it sounds good, it sounds good. If it works in a song, it works in a song. If it serves your vision, it serves your vision. That's all that really matters. I was just curious, and it's a cool sound. It's got a cool feel to it. Even I think also adding to that this like modulated reverb that's obviously super washy, that adds to a lot of that space as well. Here's one of the things that I'm listening for on the drum side. I think a lot of this actually is on the tracking side too, not necessarily just on the mixing side. What kind of music being played here? Literally all genres. It's going to be all over the place. We've had some like cinematic contemporary tracks. We've had 2 shoegaze tracks back to back, actually, strangely enough. Rap, R&B, country, EDM, house, lo-fi, all the way across the board. We're gonna hear a lot of everything. We listen to a lot of different variety here. It's a very analytical, very like long form, deep dive into the music. So there's no genre bias where we're just listening to a particular genre, or even like I'm not even necessarily telling you what I just like or don't like, unless I'm just celebrating something specific I want to celebrate in the song. This is not about like my opinion necessarily on just like if your song is hype or not. It's a super deep dive on the structure of your music. Okay, let's get into the drums here really quick. So on the drum side, one of the only things that I'm kind of experiencing here is what sounds like more so on the tracking side than on the mixing side itself. The drums to me sound like they're kind of 20 feet away. And now there can be some intention that you have to like do that on the mixing side to create some space through like a room reverb and like piping it into a room and giving it a little bit of depth and a little bit of space there. But the thing that I'm hearing though is that all of the drums have that kind of a feel like where you're kind of separate from all of the drums. And what it's making it seem like, thank you for the follow. Hey, I appreciate it. What it's making it seem like is we don't quite get the feeling and the punch and the drive from like especially like the direct mics, like the kick and the snare that I would want to. It kind of sounds like we're getting most of this from like overheads or rooms, maybe even where you were a little bit separated from these different elements, right? That's one of the biggest issues with drums in general. Sounds like they're recorded from another room, right? I mean, drums are a challenge, man. I love mixing drums. I enjoy mixing drums. I enjoy playing them and stuff like that. But it is a lot more complex in some ways, right? When you have a drum set with anywhere from 4 to 10 microphones on it, and you're checking phase and measurements between the two. You also you have some rooms. You got other things that you're piping into. You're making sure that everything's phase cohesive. You're mitigating bleed as much as you possibly can. You're having to like figure out like gating without taking the life out of the different like dynamic ranges. It's challenging. And that's different than like, here's my voice, here's the mic. It doesn't mean that mixing vocals is easy. There's still a lot that you have to do. But this is one mic compared to 10, and each one of those drums are an instrument that has tuning, that has phase you got to figure out, stuff like that. So as much as I love drums and I love tracking drums, it is much more complex to figure out. But that's one of the things that I am experiencing here, where what I would love is to get a stronger direct signal from your drums, right? So, and again, I don't know how they're mic'd. I don't know, like the last situation, there was more of like exactly what's going on. We know the mics and where they're positioned and stuff like that. In this case, obviously without knowing too much about the drum structure, and again, you don't have to even supply that. It's not necessary. But what I would love is a tighter, stronger feed from the direct mic. So like kick, snare, toms, I would love for those to be a little bit sharper, a little bit cleaner, maybe better bleed mitigation, like a little bit more control. What's up, Carter? What's up, dude? I would love a little bit better control there. And then with a stronger direct signal on the drums, then being able to like pipe in, if there are room mics and stereo overheads and stuff like that, pipe those in. Carter, oh my gosh, Carter with the Stingray, dude. Thank you for the God. I've never seen that in my life. Thank you for the gift, dude. I haven't seen you in forever, man. I hope you're doing amazing. I hope life is treating you all right. Thank you so much for tapping in, man. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, real quick. Direct mics, a little bit stronger, closer, a cleaner direct signal, and then using, dude, love you too, man. It's so good to see that name pop up in the chat. I saw the yellow, the yellow profile picture pop up. I was like, no way. And then be able to feed in your room signal, your stereo overheads, and or send them to a bus in whatever DAW y'all are using and mix, or the producer's mixing in. Send it to a bus and send that into a room. Put a room in there and pipe those drums into a digital room. There's a lot of great ones that you can use, and a lot of plugins that I use that are fantastic for sending your drums into rooms as well. Where you can just get a really clean, direct, snappy performance from the drums, and then create your own room as necessary in the box. That will give you a lot more control, either way, how you do it. A better direct signal will give you more control. Because the only thing I wish was that like these signals felt a little closer, right? They felt a little bit more like I feel like I'm sitting right in front of them, as opposed to them feeling like they're separated. And that's a little bit of what's happening here. Is that what it sounds like to me is maybe there are pretty good tracking of the direct mics here, but it sounds like the mix is by maybe, and again, there's a lot of nuance to that. I could be wrong about half the things that I'm saying because it depends on the structure of the mix and structure of the miking situation and stuff like that. It sounds like maybe there's a bias towards overheads compared to, of course, 100%. And also, just a quick reminder, all of these are saved to YouTube as well. So if you need to go back and reference anything or take notes or anything like that, every single one of these live streams are saved to YouTube as a VOD. So just go to the Track Talk playlist, the Track Talk live stream playlist. This will be like episode 114 or something like that. And you can literally just go find your song and see all the details there, just in case that's helpful. But if there's here's what happens, right? If there's, and I don't need to harp on this too much, I'm sorry, but I get in my own world sometimes a little bit. But if the bias is towards the overheads are going to be 4 feet away from the drums, right? 3 feet, 4 feet away from the drums, depending on where they're at or how you mic them. They're going to be separated, and then you have your direct mic. So if the bias is more towards the thing that is farther away, it makes the mix feel farther away, right? Which can be a good thing. It can be a necessary thing. It can be something you're going for. But in this case, if the bias is towards the room or it's towards the overheads, and you're getting much more sound from those overheads than you are from the directs, you lose that direct signal and you lose that kind of closeness of the drums. I would rather like add the reverb to the drums, like add a nice, open reverb to the snares to give it some space, or pipe them into a room, or mix the rooms in lightly super wide and stereo, than bias too far to the overheads and losing kind of like the punch and the drive behind the kick and the snare. Last thing I'll say on that. All right, let's keep it going. Guitar tone is great. Background pads are washy. They're beautiful.
Procrastination, communication, rejuvenation, exasperation.
Harmonies are cool. I also love like a really raw feel in this. Again, like I mentioned with the last one, this is not a style that you want to like overproduce and over polish. I don't mind not tuning the vocals. I don't mind some of the reflection not being perfect, and that's not what I'm trying to do with the drums either. I don't want this to be like perfect and polished and poppy. This is not what this is. It's not the style at all. You want it to feel kind of loose. You do want it to feel really natural and really engaging and not too polished. You want to feel like you're just in like some underground like catacombs band night, and you're right there in the crowd and the space. Like you want this to feel really set in that environment. So I want to keep that in mind too. The goal is not to like over pop in. You know what I mean? you don't want to overproduce this in any sense. You want it to be pretty raw. So I still want punch from the kick and snare. I still want things like that. I still want clarity and separation so we can understand what's happening, all while maintaining as natural of a sound and as organic of a sound as possible. And I think that is also the superpower of like really great tracking and really great engineering is it makes something that might have taken a ton of effort sound really easy and really natural, and really like low effort. You know what I mean? Like when you hear, I mean, like take like Whitney Houston's vocal or something like that. Like you take some like phenomenal records, like phenomenal vocal records and stuff like that. They sound like very little is happening to them, but it doesn't mean that very little is happening to them, right? Like a lot of like the modern music that we like, or vintage, older music that we like, retro music that we like, there's still a lot that's happening to control certain elements in order to make it sound as natural and as transparent as possible. So I think a lot of times what people do in order to bias towards a natural sound is they try to remove as many things as possible. And that's not necessarily what gets you to that sound, because you need those natural elements to all work together in the mix in a way that makes sense, in a way that, feels very collaborative and works well together. And sometimes that means we need to do a lot of small little edits and small little changes in dynamics and small changes in EQ to make all of these beautiful natural elements work together. And so I just know like when you're going for a really natural sound, the temptation is to just not do anything. But sometimes you still have to do something so that they all make sense together. But the end result sounds really, really like low effort, really natural, really easy. And that's what, especially in this genre, that's what you want. Any rock like subgenre too. Love the tone. Thank you for the follow, Normac. Appreciate it. Good pocket.
Left in darkness.
Yeah, great pocket. Great movement. You're getting a lot of that classic, just wash and environment that you want out of this genre. I feel like y'all are doing what you want and doing what you expect out of the genre in a way that's really clean. But again, we're heard two similar genres to subgenres back to back here. Y'all each have a very clear identity in your music though, and I think that's a superpower to have. There's a lot of people that they show up and they kind of base a lot of their sound and their imagery and their aesthetic and their sonics off of something that they're very familiar with. I still feel like this vocal is very much so the vocal. Your harmonies add a lot of that character. I would make y'all's vocal stack a staple of what you do, because those like third and fifth harmonies that you have are something that is very special about what y'all are doing specifically. And y'all's vocals blend beautifully together. They're really, really seamless together. So make the things that you do have that are unique about what you do, make them a staple of your music, because it doesn't mean you have to do it all the time, but make it a staple, because it is going to be those things that, those elements that are really consistent and really specific to y'all's band.
Full of doubt. How does it
of course.
make you feel, your affection? Does it weigh you down and make you
I love it.
I
I mean, it's the thing that it's like, here's what the thing that I like about it as well is this tells me y'all can go a lot of different directions stylistically as well, genre-wise as well. Like you can have an album that is a structure like this, and you could also do something simpler and more dry and acoustic, something like an almost like Aurora style song or something like that, where you have really expressive vocals, but a simpler production structure that's mainly based in like modulated pads and synths and keys and stuff like that, with simpler percussion structure and stuff like that. Like y'all can move in a lot of different veins here, while still holding to your core, which I think is a superpower of any band and any artist, is not that you're like switching genres completely all the time, but you can lean into a ballad structure or lean into a heavier song pretty easily while still keeping your core sound really, really strong. Let me get into this last section, but y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. I love your tone.
How does it make you feel, your affection?
Yeah, those harmonies are chef's kiss. Beautiful. Love the harmonies. Also, this has that like classic like FX 500 soft focus, which is like that soft focus like reverb and modulation is like kind of like the core of like late 80s, 90s early introductions to shoegaze and stuff. Like it's like the sound of shoegaze, that soft focus feel. This has all of that, like everything that you love about that really, really like open reverberated environmental sound. You have all of that stuff going on, which is great.
Does it weigh you down and make you anxious? I'm in a deeper state
So good.
of worry now. I'm satisfied.
Strong vocal. It's a good mix. It's a good mix because it's noisy, it's big, it's busy. There's a lot of information there, but I can still hear what's going on. That's a good mix. You know what I mean? Where you can still distinguish and clarify things while it's still being a wall of sound, and fairly noisy, but in a good way, especially in this genre. But y'all, please show some love to Thaladela. I don't know why I can't say it. Thaladela, thank you so much for sending this in. I appreciate it more than you know. Shout out on the keys and the harmonies. They're beautiful. They're absolutely fantastic. They sound absolutely amazing. So y'all, please show some love. Let's get straight into the next track here. I will be closing up the line here probably pretty soon, but I appreciate y'all tapping in so much. Thank y'all for joining the live today. We got EXO in the building. EXO, hop in the chat. Let me know where you're at. We got EXO, Chris, I got you, and Normac in here as well. This song I wrote, sung, produced, and made on an iPhone 11 on GarageBand. Let's go. Of course. I can't wait to hear more from y'all. Y'all are absolutely fantastic. All right, this is Oh Angelina Song was made for my baby mama who drifted from me. Song was made entirely in GarageBand. Okay, and then our vocals, were you using like Apple headphones, or did you find a way to record your vocals separately as well? All right, but let's get into it. This is out on Spotify as well. Another release track. Let's pull it up. Yeah, and give me any and all details as far as I think you said you produced it on there too. Mic with an audio interface. Okay, cool. But this was all produced on GarageBand? Awesome. Awesome, awesome.
Oh, Angelina, I know why you chose to stay. Happy to leave me bloody, broken, I'm in vain. I'm in pain. God says you chosen, I'll take my 2 cents and change. You can't say for certain I'll always be this way. Oh, Angelina, why you make me feel this way? You take what's been broken, but baby, you just take it. The chains have been broken, so baby, please choose to stay. Oh, Angelina, why you make me feel this way?
What'd you do for drums? Drums and bass.
Oh, Angelina, in my dreams I'm screaming on my chest, rhythm demons, Cupid shot red, I'm bleeding, fell in love, hell, I'm grieving, fell in love, hell, I'm grieving. Like, oh, Angelina, why you make me feel this way? Sick of life, but I'm so sick of love. Every night I've been getting done, just to lose you off the thoughts when I'm getting stuck. Mud dripping, burning in my lungs, got no better luck. You're the gun in my head, but I'm the bullet lunch. Love, girl, have you ever loved? Have you ever loved? Fell for you, drifting from your love. Now I'm not enough. Aiming for the moon, but baby, you chasing the sun. Oh, Angelina, I know why you chose to stay. Happy to leave me bloody, broken, I'm in vain. If God thinks I'm chosen, I'll take my 2 cents and change.
Some good melodies in the hook here.
Angelina, why you make me feel this way?
Link in my bio. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love. That is Andrew Avocado right here in the building. The song is called Oh Angelina by XO Lovesick. Let's get into it. Let's run it. Let's run it. Yeah, you've got a good voice. There's some great melody structure in those hooks, good repetition there. I think all that's fantastic. Obviously, we'll talk about some production details, but I want to know what, as far as like production goes and structure goes, how are you tracking, like, what are you doing for like bass, drums, and guitar? Because obviously we have like a real bass in there. We have, tracked or sampled drums in there, and then of course the guitar and stuff like that intermittently as well. So talk to me a little bit about that, and we'll dive into some of the production details here, because that obviously determines how you go about balancing those elements and improving on the mix of those elements. And so I would love a little bit of information there. But let's dive in. Let's dive in. Let me back it up. Bezos produced on GarageBand. Hey, no worries. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, Angelina, I know why you chose to stay. Happy to live.
Okay, real quick. I usually mention this once live. I'll mention it now. One thing really quick structurally. Just so everybody is aware, there is a 30-second threshold to what counts as a stream when people are listening to your stream. So if people don't listen past 30 seconds, it doesn't count. So it's something I want you to keep in mind when you're building your song structure, especially longer intros and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. But what will happen is if people don't listen past that 30-second threshold on most major DSPs like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon, Tidal, whatever, they won't count as a stream and you won't get paid. So it can be really beneficial to have earlier vocal structure somehow, something early on that just lets people know that you're there. I mean, for some people, it's literally like taking a deep breath, saying something, speaking something, like, some kind of early vocal texture. Now, if you're already established, that doesn't matter nearly as much. But for most early artists where you have no exposure, you can't get away with as much, unfortunately. It's really hard to get traction. It's hard to get movement. It's incredibly saturated. Thank you for the follow. It can be really challenging to get movement for your music. So the example I always give is you could have 1 million people stream your song for 28 seconds and you'll see 0 streams and 0 dollars or cents or whatever they would give. You'll see $0 from those 1 million people that came across your song, that registered your song, right, and clicked on it. And so you really do want to make sure that you get as many people past that 30-second mark as possible. It doesn't mean you have to like focus on that. Like, this really just has to do with what you are, okay with happening in your music. You just have to keep in mind what is going to keep people and what's not. So I usually tell people to find some way to optimize that first, 15 seconds of your song or so, just so people at least get them to listen for 34 seconds. And if they hate it after that, and they're like, oh, I don't like this at all, at least you got the stream, at least you got paid for it. Because, there's a chance where like you might see 1,200 streams on this song, but 6,000 people actually clicked on it. They just didn't stay long enough, whether they liked it or not, right? And so I would encourage you to optimize it. And that can be as simple as saying something early on. It could be, you could light a lighter, take a deep breath. You'll hear rap and R&B artists do a bunch of different things. It could be sampling something early on in the song. It could be starting the song straight away with your hook. Like, I wouldn't even mind if you started with the hook over this intro right here. Hold on, it's fading. Da, 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 da. If you just started like straight, like just punch right into it, and we're right away with the hook right there, or you start with the guitar without the drums, and it's just in this case, let me see. Song is still in the queue, and you put it in 5 days ago. There's no, or what do you mean? There's still in the queue and it's from 5 days ago. What do you mean, A? Are you talking about the free lay? Okay, let me back this up here. I have an idea for you. And then this song is out, so don't worry about this song. I'm talking about the future too. Okay, so this is an A minor, right? So you have da 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 da. So like you could start with just here and then go straight to, just to give you an example. Take out drums on the intro. Oh, Angelina, da 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 da. Oh, Angelina. Whoops, don't do that. Da 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 da. 2, 3. Dum boom. And you bring in the drums right there. You go straight into the verse, so the verse starts right away. But what that does, if you just start with "Oh Angelina," it's da 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 da, with the guitars in the background right there, maybe the piano, maybe there's some of those layers still there, but you don't start with the drums. It allows you to go straight away with the hook. So immediately people are like, "Oh, what's going on here?" You're much more likely to get people to stay for that 30 seconds. Much more likely to get them engaged with the rest of the song, right? And so that's little things like that where it's like just formatting the song differently, restructuring your intros, or you have the same intro here, but you have some like vocal layer with a bunch of reverb in the background. And you just like start here. Nothing wrong with starting instrumentally too. Just little ad libs or something. Like you can have just some textural things, you know, because your vocal starts at 25. And so there has to be a reason for when when you have no exposure at all yet, right? And nobody knows who you are yet. There's got to be a reason for people to get through this. So like if you're coming, you know, through a playlist, right? And there's someone who's listening to listening to music, and you're coming in on a playlist. Is there a reason why they would hang through this with some quality issues, with some degraded signal, with some mixing balancing we could do? Is there a reason that's going to pull people into the next section? Now, if we start straight away, people are going to know quicker whether or not they're going to stay or if they're going to give it a shot and see what the verse sounds like. More than likely, they're going to listen for a little bit longer, and your streams are going to go much higher. Streams in your automatic payouts, because you don't get paid unless you get 1,000 streams on the song anyways. So you want to make sure that you're optimizing that as much as you feel is necessary, because you can also just say like, hey, I don't care at all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care at all. I'm just going to make what I make. And if people like it, they like it. If not, I'm doing what I think is authentic, whatever. And I think there's a bridge you can always, there's a gap that you can bridge of like what is like purely creatively authentic. And then also keeping in mind, I want as many people as possible to hear my message, hear my song, hear my creativity. So I'm going to bridge this gap a little bit here and make sure that I still honor my creativity and what I want to do authentically in the song, while keeping in mind what is going to even allow anyone to hear it. And those little details right there, I think are really important. Really quick on the vocal structure here, I would, on your doubles here, especially in this genre, I would probably split your doubles wide. It's much more typical, especially if you want to regain some width in the song, to open up those layers left and right. So if you're going to have a lead, you can still double that lead and keep it really, really tight to the lead vocal. Just make sure they're hyper consistent. So these doubles in the background here.
You chose to stay, happy to live in bloody, bro.
Right there, it's your background. Leave me bloody. There's two vocals that sing on the same time right there. Those vocals, they come in as ad-libs, but then they also come in as a double as well. Get those out to the side when you're doing any doubles on the vocal. You don't necessarily have to, but you want those to be super tight to the vocal if they're going to be right next to it. If they're kind of loose, then you're going to hear some like kind of detuning and different timing, stuff like that. If they're not like perfectly doubled with that vocal right next to it, then it'll sound off time. It'll sound kind of out of tune and stuff like that. So one way you can help create some separation from that is just to put them off on the side. Also make your vocal sound wider, of course. Double track, make a double on the left, make a double on the right, and then maybe bring them back by a couple dB, just because your perceived loudness is going to be a little bit wider when you push them out there. But what you're hearing is like, because you kind of start, and this is milliseconds, right? But you start, phrases and words slightly in front or slightly behind the other one, or slightly in different tunes. It just sounds a little muddier and it sounds a little lower quality. But if you get them out of the way, then they kind of live in their own space. And then you just get this nice wide poppy vocal mix. Good news, I've actually gotten into ear training in day 2. I can correctly identify any C major note. Let's go, Anima. I love to hear that. I love to hear. Okay, let's skip forward a little bit.
Oh, Angelina, why you make me feel this way?
So like right there where we're floating between, it's melody for a while, then it switches to harmony, and then it switches back to melody again, and it's doubled right there. Those inconsistencies are going to make it feel like they're out of tune a little bit. So I would get those out to the side there.
Oh, Angelina, in my dreams I'm screaming on my chest, rhythm demons, Cupid shot red, I'm bleeding.
Because all the timing and changes in pitch right there, that's where it starts to sound noisy to me. And that's where, no matter what you're using to record, I mean, you can get a phenomenal recording with a $100 mic and a cheap interface. I did for years before I ever invested in much more expensive equipment. So like, there's a lot there that you can still improve even with the cheaper gear and recording in GarageBand. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And so I think part of it is going to be, one, your performance. I would aim, even though in your GarageBand, I would probably track more times and really focus on getting really clean, clear lyrical performances here. There's some times where we like start strong on the lyric, and then either there's, a lack of breath, or it mumbles a little bit into the next. Like we have a clear lyric and then we lose the lyric a little bit. The layer helps, muddy that up a little bit too. I think the more we can have like a more like legible lead vocal in the middle of the mix, supported by your accents and supported by the other doubles of your vocal, the better this song is going to feel. Kate, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. And so I would love to regain some of the clarity from that lead vocal so that it doesn't get kind of muddied by itself, where the melody's changing, the doubles are kind of stepping on its toes a little bit. That will help a lot. The other thing, real quick, and I'll skip towards the end of the song, your vocals in this particular production are probably like 3 or 4 dB louder than the rest of the production structure. So the vocal is like very prominent in the mix. And so all of those other little issues that we're talking about are even that much more obvious, right? Timing changes, distinctions in your panning structure, changes in dynamic, pitch issues, anything. All of those are much more prominent because like the beat is like super soft in the background. It's like really soft and chill and easy. And then, oh, Angelina is like very, very forward in the mix. So I would actually, in this case, I'd probably turn down I would reposition backgrounds, try to get a better performance out of the lead, try to get a stronger pitch control, stronger melody for the hook, a little bit more consistently in the middle of the mix, supported by the outsides. I would actually probably bring them down by 3 or 4 dB. And from there, you can then lift your entire mix or your entire master up and get a louder, more vibrant mix as well. Because you'll have more headroom because the vocal's so loud. You can bring them back a little bit and then push the whole thing forward on the master side, and you'll be able to squeeze a little bit more out of the whole mix that way. All right, let me get to the last section here real quick. Some good melodies there for sure. Let's go, man. Show some love. Show some love. But that vocal structure to me is going to be the most important part. That's going to be the most important part because obviously that your intro, your outro structure, like the ability for people to hang on to the song, obviously that matters a lot. How you optimize that is going to determine how many people listen and how many people stick around. But the biggest thing I want you to focus on is that vocal performance and the vocal mix, vocal positioning. That to me is going to be kind of the key for people connecting to you, connecting to the song and its message. Their even ability to focus on you and focus on that message is going to come down to how many layers are stepping on each other and where they're positioned. Because if there's too much going on right there in the middle of the mix, it's going to be very challenging for the brain to like focus. So what you want is like a solid lead in the middle. It's very clear what you're doing with it. And then on the outside, they support that. They give it strength, they give it width, whatever it may be that you're looking for. But the lead vocal in the middle is really strong. Absolutely, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for sending that in. Shout out to Andrew Avocado 11 right here in the chat. That is EXO Lovesick. Oh, Angelina. Again, another song out. So go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go support them. Appreciate you so much, man. All love from this end. Let's keep it rolling. Once again, if you want to submit your music, everything's at the link in my bio. Everything's at the link in my bio. You'll see the lines for the different things that we're doing. And so, of course, if you want to submit there, we have the free lane, which we'll see if we get to today. I'm going to try to get through as many songs as I can. Or, of course, we have the consultation side, which is what we're doing now. These are the long form, 20 to 30 minute multiple listen breakdowns where we're diving into the details of your music. We're really getting into the nuances of what you're doing within the structure of your music. Okay, let's get into it. We got Chris in the building. Chris, hop in the chat. Let me know that you're here. I don't know how to describe it. These melodies just make sense. You seem to know your melody stuff. I love dealing with melody stuff, man. That's some of my favorite stuff to talk about. All right, this is Chris Burke in the building. Let's get it. Folk protest song about Canada, but really more about all politicians, recorded in my home studio and sent to my buddy for production, mastering. Main instruction to him on this one was to keep it raw. It's meant to have a raw pub feel. Love that. Drums on this one are just a Logic sequencer, as it is a simple march beat. With the new laws in Canada, my drummer was a little nervous to get in on this one. Instrumentation is guitar, bass, banjo, and mandolin. Let's get into it. I'm intrigued. Let's dive in. This is Chris Burke. Heave Away the Same Old Way. Also on spot, another release track.
Oh, gather around the harbor, boys, the wind is cold and wide. The suits all sit in towers tall while we work through the tide. There's old Trudeau with polished words, all shining bright and grand. And Carney counting every coin that never leaves his hand. Heave away, all away, nothing ever changes. New paint on broken hulls still sail the same old ranges. Heave away, all away, let the truth be told, different names, the very same, all chasing after gold.
Hell yeah.
They'll shake your hand and tip their hat and say they're on your side. Then turn around in quiet rooms where all the deals reside. They promise more than they can give and take what you have made and leave you out in wind and rain while they're warm in the shade. Heave away, all away, nothing ever changes. New paint on broken hulls still sail the same. All the ranges heave away, all away. Let the truth be told, different names, the very same, all chasing after gold.
Perfect.
There's old Pierre up on the deck, he talks a mighty fight, but never turns the wheel enough to steer the ship to right. He's standing with the other side, or so he likes to say, but he's sailing on the very course they set the other day.
I love this. A low octave.
All the way, nothing ever changes. New paint on broken hulls still sail the same. Old ranges heave away. All the way, let the truth be told. Different names, the very same. All chasing after gold.
This is so good, man. I'm ready for the hymnal. I'm ready for 3 more verses of this, and with an anthemic hook like that, man, it's so good. It's so well structured. It's beautifully mixed, by the way, as well. The mix on this is so distinct. It's so separated. Like you can hear every single thing that's happening in it. Between the banjos and the acoustics and the drum structure, vocals, the vocal harmonies. There's a couple. I don't know if it's you or if it's someone else. There's this beautiful low octave that comes in. I think a couple times in the song, but I heard it towards the end. Low octave that comes in. That's all you. That low octave is something, and I'm blown away. Beautiful, beautiful job. Let's run it from the top, man. I love the message. I love the feel. I love the energy around it. Beautifully, beautifully done. It is a fantastic mix as well. This is one of those things, man, like music and the arts has always been one of the ways that people involve themselves in the tensions of the things that you're talking about and expressing them freely within the arts, man. It's something that I'm so passionate about, something that I think has been innate to the arts for thousands of years, to be honest. And so I love that, man. I mean, all the more to you, man. It's kind of funny because I don't consider myself a great bass singer. I lucked out that week and had the flu and hit the notes. Hey, man, you gotta get it when it comes, man. You gotta take advantage of when those moments. I've had some moments like that where like, hey, man, this is the one day that I can record like this. No other day. But man, please show some love to Chris Burke. I really genuinely enjoy what you do. It is so real. It's authentic. It's good creative lyric structure about messaging that's really powerful and very needed. Absolutely love it, man. Absolutely love it. I'm a fan. Let's run it from the top. Let's talk about a couple things. But yeah, this is beautifully done, man. Push this out there everywhere. Get it out there. People need to hear it. Let's run it.
Oh, gather around the harbor, boys. The wind is cold and wide. The suits all sit in towers tall while we work through the tide. There's old Trudeau with polished words, all shining bright and grand. And Carney counting every coin that never leaves his hand. Heave away, all away. Nothing ever changes. New paint on broken hulls still sail the same. Old ranges heave away, all away. Let the truth be told. Different names, the very same. All chasing after gold. They'll shake your hand and tip their hat and say they're on your side. Then turn around in quiet rooms.
Really great job utilizing the harmonies as one of your biggest dynamic changes here. Not a ton changes about once the drums come in. So we start a little bit lighter. Once the drums come in, not a lot else actually changes about the instrumentation itself. It's pretty consistent from the end of that hook going into your second verse. The biggest dynamic change are these like beautiful third note harmonies and stuff on the outside. Those layers of your vocal add so much weight and add so much character to the song that even just simply adding those layers and adding melody change to a higher register of the vocal completely changes the feel of the song, and you are distinctly in the hook when you're there. On a lot of other songs and a lot of other genres too, if you're too close in vocal register and dynamics from verse to hook, it can be hard to distinguish where it is. Somehow, because of the progression change, the vocal register change, and of course adding those harmonies, even though the production sound design is largely exactly the same, because the progression, the register, and the harmonies change, the song feels completely different going into the hook, which I think is so powerful. That's great. That's great production structure there. Vocals, lyrics are the focus in this one. Is meant to mimic an a cappella, shanty rowing, marching song. I think you nailed that. I think that's great. Yeah, if anybody would like to spin, it's at the link in my bio. Everything's up there. But yeah, I think you nailed that. I think that's great. I think that's fantastic.
Where all the deals reside, they promise more than they can give and take what you have made and leave you.
I gotta go
out in
purr.
wind and rain while they're warm in
Got
the
to.
shade. Heave away, all the way. Nothing ever changes. New paint on broken hulls still sail the same old ranges. Heave away, all the way. Let the truth be told. Different names, the very same. All chasing after gold.
Yeah, that chasing after gold. God, come on. That's I never claim to have a low voice. I really do not have a low voice in any sense. In fact, most of the time I have a pretty high voice. That low octave, I wish, maybe I just need the flu. Maybe I just got to go down the same route that you did. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Maybe I just need to, take the same route that you did of recording those vocals. But that low octave is doing everything that I wanted to do in this song. It's well recorded, and it is such a great texture. For me, it is one of like the staple textures of a song that you're describing. These like sea shanty kind of, this feel that you have here, especially with the marching undertone. Like that, to me, having that low octave is so valuable and it's so necessary in a song like this. I love that you were able to execute that yourself, even if it took, an illness to get it. I'm sorry for that. But I love that you have that low octave in there. It is so tasteful. It's such a staple of the song. I absolutely love it. Eduardo, thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate that.
Names the very same. All chasing out.
Baby. Goodness gracious, it's so low. It's crazy. I don't got that. I don't got it. That's great.
There's old Pierre up on the deck. He talks a mighty fight, but never turns the wheel enough to steer the ship to right. He's standing with the other side, or so he likes to say, but he's sailing on the very course they set the other day. Light-a-dum, light-a-light-a-dum, light-a-dum, light-a-light-a-light-a-light-a-dum, light-a-dum, light-a-dum.
You know what I would love to hear? Again, this is not a critique of the song at all, because like I said, the structure of this I think is fantastic and it's very, very well mixed. I would love to hear, in order to like involve people in a little bit more, I would love to hear some gang vocals right here. Now, lead vocals fantastic. Those layers are beautiful. They're doing what they're supposed to do in the mix. I would love some step off the mic, middle of the room, someone 15 feet over here, you and two other people over here, different tones, different textures, right here. And I would introduce it here and then add it in at the end of the song as well. On the last hook, this like. And just like they can be out of tune. And the reason why I say the two is, for one, I think just sonically, I think it would sound really cool. But the other reason why is, like you said, I kind of want this to be my bandmates are once afraid of our new law, so can do it yourself. There's been many songs that I have recorded gang vocals on where I did it myself, and I had my mic set up and I recorded it. I recorded my normal vocal, I recorded a high octave, a low octave, a left and a right or whatever, and then I just stepped back 10 feet and kind of recorded it a little bit different, like a different articulation. I stepped back 20 feet, recorded it, stepped to the left, stepped to the right, stepped around. Like I just started doing it in like different voices and different stuff, and you put 15 layers of that in a song and it sounds exactly like you want it to sound. You don't have to get other people to do it. You just you do have to kind of step out of your box and be okay doing some weird techniques sometime, and like maybe on one vocal using and then on another one you are consciously doing and that sounds stupid when you do it on your own and it sounds ridiculous. But if you just start you start doing different voices and different kind of weird techniques and different textures and stuff like that. And the way that it all ends up fitting together is like this whole choral element, this whole, choir that you have, stuff like that right here. Because like you said, this is like, I'm imagining like in a pub, we're in a speakeasy, we're underground, we're just, at the corner bar, and we got everybody in there singing there. They all got a pint and we're all singing the song together, kind of an F the system kind of a song. If you have that kind of, lyric structure and rebellious air to the song, it'd be nice to involve more of the people that you are, the constituents that you're kind of talking about in that way. I think it would be really interesting to have more of that in there, whether or not you do it all yourself. Game vocals is something I'd love to learn to do as well, as they are used a lot in folk music, 100%. That's why I think it would be powerful to have in a song like this, because again, you kind of are inherently involving more people in the sound, even if it's all your vocal. Like you are just involving in the chant right there too. You're just involving more sonics and more textures and more voices, which I think is really cool to have. So if you're ever to do something like this or do something like this again, I would start gang vocals here and finish off the song with the last hook having the gang vocals in there as well. But definitely play around with it. It's weird. It's weird. You know what I mean? Where like you start recording with a different voice, you do some like consciously out of tune. You do some like, really sing it in a really high voice, sing it in a low voice, sing it deep, sing it thin, and sing it away from the mic, sing it on the left, sing it on the right, whatever, like all over the place. And then you just start to mix them in tastefully and place them around the mic, or, place them around the mix, spread them out a little bit. And you'll get a really cool sound. You'll get a really cool sound. Everything's at the link in my bio. Everything's at the link in my bio.
Either way, all the way, nothing ever changes. New paint on broken hulls still sail the same old ranges. Either way, all the way, let the truth be told. Different names,
Yes, it's true. That's true. I do think that it's an important note, and I don't actually necessarily like, I'm not like advocating for that necessarily, but like, I don't think, I was like, I don't know, I don't want like someone to come in and they have like an issue, and I'm like, hey, this would be the best thing for you. And like, well, there goes 12 years. I don't, that's not what I'm trying to do. At the same time, I think, regardless of that foundation, I think it can be important to put yourself in the shoes of the song, right? If this is like a happy poppy love song, then smile on the mic, like have that that pep in your vocal, like make sure that you're hydrated well, that the song feels energetic and it feels lively, and it doesn't feel like you're seriously reading a script for this happy love song, right? If it's a sad, somber ballad, or it's like an angry rock song or whatever it may be, right? Putting yourself in those situations and putting yourself into a frame of mind and in an environment that allows you to get that emotion across the most authentically, I do think is really important. So I'm not necessarily saying that, and you can, I'm not necessarily saying that is like a necessary tool to doing that. But if it is a tool that would work for you, then do it in a way where it's like you are putting yourself in the energy of the song that you're singing in the most authentic way possible. I do feel like really great art can come from that. It's one of the reasons why some of the best engineers that I know, some of the best engineers that I just like follow and I'm engaged with, they talk constantly about the environment that they create, like producers and engineers create for songwriting and for people to perform their songs, whether it's like cooking meals before, making sure that their favorite snack is there in the studio, or making sure that they talk about their day. There's some like therapeutic kind of involved, you know what I mean? Where it's like, we like, let's get the energy. Benny does talk about that all the time. And I've heard so many engineers and so many producers talk about that example of like, hey, like before you get in, it's like, hey, we're in the studio, flip on the C800 and let's get in the booth. Be like, hey, how we feeling? How we feeling today? Like what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of times, you will get to pull more out of the performance that way, or you might go a completely different direction. You might do something different. And so like in this case where you're like, when we're talking about all these tensions in a song like this, it can be, like you said, it doesn't mean you have to get, wasted to go before it, but it can be like, okay, I'm going to have a drink and I'm going to set the stage for the song in a way where like I put myself in the situation. I put myself into the world that I've built for this song. And I, whether you involve other people or not, as far as like gang vocals and things like that, you're putting yourself in a space that your creation and capturing of the art Wasted, yeah, facts. It was like, hey, that's semantics here. Semantics. I'm not saying you have to get wasted. I'm just saying get sloppy drunk. You know what I'm saying? Be like, no, it really depends on how you want to approach it, right? But I do think there is such value. And I think the more authentically you capture and perform your art, the more authentically it's going to be received by other people. And I do think that is a superpower that not a lot of people tap into. They get scripted, they get on the mic, they hold up the phone, which is fine. I'm not saying you don't have to, but like you can be really rigid and sterile with your capture process. And when you're really rigid and sterile with your capture process, the receiving process is going to be the same. Or you're going to be like extra reliant on the engineer to yank life out of your performance. You know what I mean? Like, please bring this sterile performance to life because I'm just going through the script now. I think the more you can perform authentically, the better off you're going to be. But y'all show some love to Chris. Chris, I love what you do, man. Genuinely love what you do. I think it's interesting. I think it's engaging. I think you execute in this genre and in this style and in this form like really well. I think you're very, 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 very talented, man. So I keep doing what you're doing. You'll find your people. You'll find your lane. You've got 17,000, monthly listeners. It's not like you're doing nothing, man. You're crushing it. You're doing some great stuff. But I really feel like there's a lane for what you're doing, and just keep pushing, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I genuinely enjoy it. Thank you, Normac. I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that, man. I can get very passionate. I love this shit. I love this shit. It makes me very, very happy. There's nothing else I'd rather do than work in this space. So shout out to Chris, man. Shout out to Chris. Speaking of Normac, we have Ain't Coming Back by Normac right here. We're a lot of rock bands today. Let's fucking go. We're a rock band out of Louisville, Kentucky. This is our latest single, Ain't Coming Back. Check out Normac Music for more music dates and videos. Let's go. Let's go. It's time. All right. This is Ain't Coming Back. Another release song, man. So many release songs today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ooh, thank you for okay, beautiful. Just checking something here. Exactly. Yeah, feels authentic. I mean, add a couple pints in there and a swath of vocals in the background. Dude, it's game over. It's game over. All right. Let me get this pulled up. It's not loading. There we go. All right, Ain't Coming Back. Normac, let's get into it. Normac, give me all the details. Talk to me about really quick who's in front of me, and the role that you play in the music. Whether you're lead, you're top line, you're drummer, bassist, whatever. Give me some details. Give me some structural things here, and let's get into it. Let's get into it. Great riff already. Already so good. Love the chromatic walk. Come on. I already love this so much.
You don't always feel it creeping in.
Cameron, cool. Thanks for tapping in, man. I appreciate it.
One day you wake up wondering where it all began.
How'd the mix happen on this?
There's a part of me that wants to bend.
Yeah, this is awesome.
'Cause though it's lost, love once was found.
Not at all. Not at all. Trust me. You're good.
I'm searching photographs, trying to find what we once had.
Great mix.
It ain't coming back. I don't recognize the faces here. I remember everything, but the feeling we felt for years. A part of
Great mix.
everything that
That's
I
nice.
once knew. Now I don't know if you know me, to know if I know you. I'm searching photographs, trying to find what we once had. It ain't coming back. Connections buried deep, but we've lost electricity. It ain't coming back.
Yeah. It's a great riff.
Searching
Such a great riff.
photographs, trying to find what we
Tone is
once
beautiful.
had.
Vocals killer. Fantastic.
Coming back. Connections buried deep, but we've lost electricity. It ain't coming back. It ain't coming back.
Come on. Yeah, Chris. Delayed hits are great. So good. Come on, man. The bands today have been on fire. On fire, on fire. I mean, I think this is probably our fifth or sixth, like, rock band today, something like that. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful job. Man, let's dive into it. Let's get straight into it. That is Ain't Coming Back by Normac Music. They're right here in the chat. The song is released. It is out on all platforms. Go like it, go follow, go stream it, go add it to your playlist, go show it some love and support. Of course, follow on Spotify and follow here on social media as well. Show them some love and support. Y'all are this is way more polished than the 77 monthly listeners would tell you. This is a really professional sounding, really polished, really seamless, well-structured record, man. This should be in the opening scene of like a 90s, grungy high school, college era movie, you know what I mean? Like, this should get sync placements. This should get you movement. It's a really, really well-structured music, man. Y'all should be very, very proud of this. This is not basic stuff. It's really well done. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it, man. It's tough, dude. I know it. I almost like hate saying, sometimes it's like sometimes I bother myself just like saying how good something is, or just like, oh, this should be, everyone's like, dude, you should do sync. like that's just like a door you can just walk through. Like, you should definitely be in movies, man. And it's like, okay, it's much easier said than done. It takes a lot of darts on the board to even get some of those opportunities, but man, the quality is there for you to be able to execute in that space. That's what I mean by that too. It's really easy to say that like something could do something, but y'all genuinely have like the aesthetic and the quality, I think, to be able to execute in that space. Let's run it from the top. Yeah, promoting is the hardest part. And I haven't seen, my first time hearing y'all, I haven't seen what you're promoting. I haven't seen your page. I want to make sure that I follow y'all after the live, because I do want to see what y'all are up to, and how you're promoting your music. And if you want to talk about any of that, of course, you can let me know kind of what y'all have tried doing. But that's what I would fight for more than anything, because the quality is not going to be the issue. Hold on, I gotta move this here. Quality is not an issue. The writing's not an issue. The ability to execute vocally is not the issue. I think the charisma of the music, that's not going to be the issue. The pain point is going to be getting people to connect with it in the way that you promote, and the way that you market it, how you let people know what you're doing. I think it's gonna be a big part of it, because that to me is one of the hardest things to do. Yeah, it's the branding. Yeah, all of the whole world building of y'all as a band, as an aesthetic, is so important. And then just how you present yourself in content, and how you do that platform to platform is so unique. So anyways, let's run it from the top. Let's talk about a couple things. You have some things going on here that I talk about all the time. I'll say it again when we get into this song, but there's some things that I talk about all the time in this live when it comes to building hook structure instrumentally and vocally. You'll have done it so perfectly. It's exactly what I talk about. And identifying your music, you've done it perfectly. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, y'all are executing at a high level. Keep doing what you're doing musically. Keep rolling with what you're doing musically, and then and hopefully you can find a stride with the marketing side too, the promotion side. I know that it's difficult. It's so challenging. It's hard to especially put effort into it. But yeah, let's get into it. That is such that melody is so good. It's so good. It's so good. The thing that I talk about all the time is, if you want a good song and a memorable song, and a song that is going to work for long periods of time, you need a great vocal hook, a distinct, clear, great vocal hook that has repetition. It's got pattern recognition, and you need a distinct, clean, clear instrumental hook as well. Every single song that we love and adore that has withstood the test of time has had identifiable vocal structure and identifiable music structure. That takes repetition, that takes pattern, that takes something where, like, when you hear this melody, you hear this melody 4 times for every bar of the song. And then that happens 3 times throughout the song. So you're hearing this one individual melody just instrumentally 12 to 16 times over the course of the song, not counting the repetition of the vocal. It's simple, it's repetitive, but also just a good, clean instrumental hook. What that acts as is a fingerprint of the song. It's an identifier of the song. So when the song starts, they're like, oh yeah, ain't coming back. If your song is too chordal and there is no top line to these different elements, whether that is on the vocal side and or the instrumental side, there is no clear top line, there is no clear hook structure, no repetitive element that is an identifier of the song, then you'll get lost in the noise. And it'll just be like, and this is in any genre. This is country, this is pop, this is R&B, this is hip hop, this is UK drill beats, this is all over the place. This is your lo-fi EDM record. Having an identifier for your sonics is the way that people are going to know that it is what it is. As soon as this song starts, I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, that's why as soon as you started playing, I was like, oh, this is already great. I already know it. Like, I know the mix based on the tone of the guitar and its positioning. This is going to sound good. This is going to be good. It's a great lead line. It grabs you. It grabs you. It does. And so that's, anyways, what you're doing here with this A, and then following it with the bass line leading in right there on the C sharp D E, the followed melodies right there. What you're doing right there is what I want people to do in their music in any genre, no matter if you're a rapper, no matter if you make trap beats, no matter if you're a country singer, whatever it is. Those are the elements. How you might replace this version of it with like a steel slide. You might replace this with like a lead synth melody over a trap beat, but having an identifier to your sound is what's going to make it work, and it's what's going to make people want to listen to you over anything else. So just, man, chef's kiss, flowers to y'all. Beautifully done. And tone for days. Chromatic walk, beautiful. Little harmony. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not bullshitting. I was literally going to ask if you were using a Vox because of that chime. Because of that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chime right there. So I have, that's what I use, right. I have a special edition AC15. I used to have an AC13, but it was just it's too loud. It's too loud for the space that I'm in right now. So I have a AC15, and I was like, man, there is something so special about this beautiful British tube breakup, this chime, this little slice at the top of it with some weight underneath it. You have this classic, I don't know if you have a Gretsch, but it has this classic, like it feels semi-hollow. It feels like centerline maybe even, or like center block, but it has this openness to the tone. It's got this open, hollow tone, and that beautiful, beautiful British breakup. From that Vox. I love it. That's my favorite combination in the studio of like guitars to amp that I have is my center block Gretsch and the AC15. To me, it is just everything. I love it so much. I'm addicted to it. Such a good tone. The tone is there for days. It's beautiful. Tell it at 335. 335. Okay, maybe that's I don't want to like make stuff up after I'm hearing them and I see it and it confirms it, like look, confirmation bias or something. But maybe the 335 like dot is what I'm hearing in the background there too. But the tone is just maximum chime on 11. Come on. Beautiful double tracks, wide as hell. Beautiful double tracks. Drums are snappy. For one, beautiful mix on this. I mean, it is, I can distinguish every single thing happening in the background from these small layers of synths, wheel pushes on the synths, all these dives that you have from these like classic stacked saw, these saw stacks in the background with the synths. All of that energy in the background is so distinct. It's so clear. Drums are snappy, they're slicey, they're punchy, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. I already said, double tracked rhythms are beautiful, they're distinct, they're wide, leads are great, vocal structure is awesome. There's a lot of energy in this mix, and you can hear absolutely everything happening in the background. It's very clean. It's very transparent as far as where each element sits in the mix. It's very, very tastefully done. Huge fan.
It ain't coming back.
Great voice, man.
I don't recognize the faces here.
Yeah, dude, it's beautiful. I love it. I'm a fan.
I remember everything, but the feeling
Of course.
we felt for
Good music is good music, man.
a part of everything that I once knew. Now I don't know
What is this
everything, but I remember everything, but the feeling we felt for years.
Another thing that I really like about this is your progression changes. Shantia, welcome in. Good to see you. Your progression changes are interesting too, where the song is really cohesive. It's very much in the same pocket. Now you have some chord changes, progression changes in your pre that it's very fast, at least straight into the hook, but they're like very similar, right? Because I think most of the hook is just the A major, F sharp minor. It walks up to the G, so you get that chromatic walk right there, which is really tasteful too. I absolutely love that. But on the verse, we do go to the 4. So we go all the way back down and then still walk up. There's just one small change. So the whole song feels very connected, very simple, very easy to listen to, but there's small shifts in there. Little chromatic walk to the G. That's very consistent. Yeah, I got to change it up. It's like very subtle changes. It makes the song feel very cohesive, very connected. And then there's just small changes that make a difference, like going from the D major, F sharp minor to the G again, and then back up to the A, instead of on the hook where you just have the F sharp to the G. Those small, subtle changes, they make each section feel, compartmentalized. It feels like it's its own. It feels like it lives in its own world, while still very much feeling like you have the identifier, which for me, the chordal identifier is the G. That chromatic walk from the F sharp to the G is like one of the staples of the song, including the melodies that you have. And so having that being consistent while changing what surrounds it, just a brilliant move. I'm such a fan. So cool.
A part of every
Devontae, I don't prefer it. We talk in a lot of detail about the record. So we're talking about a lot of detailed stuff when it comes to the way that people are building up the production layers of their music, especially for someone who maybe needs more help. We're talking about mixing and mastering details, production structure. We're talking about song formatting and stuff like that. So I don't prefer AI just because there's a lot less of that control that you have over what you're doing when you're generating. People do. I'm not anti it in that sense. You can send it in if you would like to. I just don't prefer it just because I really love and want to offer as much value as possible and as much structure as possible to help people out. And there's not a lot that I can do with that. The thing that we can talk about is song structure, songwriting. If you want to improve on your songwriting, you want to improve on the way that you're formatting your music, then sure. But I don't prefer it. I don't prefer it. You can, but I don't prefer it. Normac, I wonder if your last message got blocked. The one if you said something before sorry, then I think they blocked it. You can try to say it a different way, maybe.
thing that I once knew.
Yeah, I know my perspective. Like I know how I feel. Oh wait for what? Wait, what? Yeah, wait. What are you saying? My bad, dude. I think I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't want to miss something. Do. Oh, okay. No, okay. Yeah, that was getting no. I was getting restricted. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, wait, I think I'm missing something. No, you're good. You're good. I was like, wait, what am I? Because the only thing that popped up before was sorry. Sorry, and then Artist Unknown was like, nice answer, and then you're like, my bad, dude. And I was like, wait, what are they apologizing for or apologizing for? And then it's AI plus talks recordings. It's so funny, dude. That's what a vivid picture. What a vivid picture. Okay, let's get a little deeper into the song. Oh, it's funny. It's funny as hell. harmony's so cool. I love it. And the addition of like this like bucket brigade, like chorusing on the secondary guitar right there is great too. I mean, you have like a classic chorusing with the lead right in the middle, but there's like another texture, faster modulation on the end line right there that's really, really nice. I love it. Nice little wobble. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm searching photographs, trying to find what we once held.
This is so good. I love it, man. I love it.
It ain't coming back. 1, 2, 3, go. Connections very deep, but we've lost electricity. It ain't coming back. It ain't coming back. It ain't coming back.
Crystal clear. Crisp mix.
I'm searching photographs, trying to find what we once held. It ain't coming back.
Y'all, show some love, man. Normac, music. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I feel like this is what's cool, and hopefully it still, you know, it still does something. But the cool thing for me with like a song like this is I feel like I can. It's less about, can I possibly find something wrong that we can fix? And like I feel less like I'm having to like surgically look and like, maybe this could be changed over here. Like I don't care about that as much. I feel like I get to kind of separate myself from that a little bit and just be a fan of the decisions that y'all are making, a fan of the musicianship, a fan of the structure. It's just good music. It's good quality music, man. Y'all are doing a fantastic job. Far better of a job in the quality, like you said, than your monthly listeners and maybe the exposure of your music would suggest. I hope in the near future y'all are able to figure out some of the methodologies behind with which you want to promote your music and stuff like that, because man, you deserve it. I mean, if y'all are performing live, if y'all are doing stuff, man, like y'all, you've got it down, man. Great quality. Such a fan. Y'all please show some love to Normac. Go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist. Ain't coming back. It is out on all platforms. Show it some love. Let's keep it rolling. I think this might be our last track of the day. We got Artist Unknown in the building. Artist Unknown, I see you right there in the chat, so we're ready to go. This is Demeaning Demeanor. It's a tongue twister. Demeaning Demeanor. I have made music in my bedroom just for the love of it for a few years. Haven't really shared much, so just curious. This is my latest one. Let's go, dude. Thank you so much. I know you were saying earlier, like, I don't know if my quality is where I want it to be. I appreciate your vulnerability in sending this in, man. I appreciate your vulnerability, man. I love music. I'm not here to trash you. I'm not here to roast you. You don't have to worry about me being like, dude, you suck. Give up on music. Music is such a powerful self-expression. It's such a powerful tool and outlet for so many different reasons. So I'm not here to trash you in any way. If there's ways that I can offer tools to help you improve, hell yeah, let's get into it. But I don't want you to feel like you like you're like, ooh, buckle up, here we go. I'm here to enjoy the music, man. I love the whole world around music, so I'm excited to dive into what you're doing here, man. This is a Demeaning Demeanor by Artist Unknown. I'm assuming you produced and mixed and kind of did everything yourself, but let me know if there's anything else that you would like me to know right here in the chat, man. I appreciate you so much for sending this in.
You said it, I meant it, despite of your exit.
They got this what? What?
To make things right. My honesty gaslights the corners of your side. I'm happy without things work. Horizon, the horizon, water side.
So you got drums in your room?
Justified and nullified and pushed aside and you would push me past the point of leaving home. Makes you wonder how I have went this long. Maybe
Oh, I didn't see anything. It probably got blocked or something.
It
didn't show up for me.
I don't lies you're disguising.
They probably got banned.
All this time and it's all a lie. You were bright as the sun and much more than I. Come on, 'cause it's time to decide what's right. Leave a light on while I
There's a lot of potential in this, man. A lot of potential.
I said it, you meant it.
Nice,
Hit you
nice.
right on the side of the exit.
I love this,
Leave a
actually.
light on 'cause I am coming on. Be the signs that you silence.
This is so nostalgic.
We'll survive and keep on trying.
It's been a rock day. It's been a rock day. I love it.
You said it, I meant it. Despite of your exit, I'm trying to make
I love your voice, man. I love your voice.
honesty gaslights the corners of your side. I'm happy without this word.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, I was important enough for it all.
How are you tracking your drums? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I have a drum pad. Can you tell I'm not a drummer? Well, yeah, we'll talk about some little things that we can polish in there. I mean this genuinely. Is it Chocoluco? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. I'm a fan. Pollock, welcome in as well. Appreciate you tapping in. I'm a fan. Okay, this is our last song of the day. So let me go ahead and close some things up here. Boom, boom, boom. Close submissions. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Know any Filipino songs, sir? I mean, I've heard a bunch on the live. We had some people that have submitted that do Filipino music. We've even had a couple other artists that come in that were doing. They were working with some like big pop-ins. I can't remember. It was Stakes is one of the artists, and he was doing some writing for a Filipino group. I can't remember what their names were, but yeah, it comes through. I don't know if I'm like super familiar or like would know their names and stuff like that, but it happens. Definitely happens. DeLorean, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it so much. One of my dream cars, by the way. Okay, let's get into it, man. Let's dive into some details. Rapaholics in the building. What's up, Rapaholic? Good to see you, legend. Appreciate you tapping in. Been a minute. Let's get into it. I really like what you're doing, Artist Unknown. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what you're doing. I think here's the thing. There's things to improve. We'll talk about ways to improve. Sure, cool. That's to me, that's not like even the hardest part about this. I think that you're not as far off from what is going to be perceived as good to other people as you think you are. I don't know if that makes sense. I think that you probably think you are farther removed from what is really palatable to people that like this style than you are. I think that you're like a couple small things and a couple decent posts from your music doing really, really well if you can find how to get it to click. And maybe polish some drum structure, maybe remix the balance between the guitars and your lead vocal, maybe, more consistent song structure. Sure, maybe. But I think that what you're doing, I think the rawness of what you do, the unproduced garage band nature of what you do is actually what's really endearing about your sound. It's what's actually going to attract people to your music, to your aesthetic, to your charisma, whatever. So anyways, so I say all that to say, don't feel like you need to get to a place where you hyper overproduce all of this to get it to like some certain point. I want you to kind of keep this. I want this to feel like a bedroom rock record as much as possible. While still having like the clarity that you want to where it can compete on platforms and stuff like that. But I don't think you're as far off as you think. So let's run it from the top. Let's dive into some details here. Demeaning demeanor, Artist Unknown. Let's run it from the top.
You said it, I meant it. Despite of your exit, I'm trying to make things right. My honesty gaslights the core.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple things here because I think I might have some options for you. The let's see. Okay, really quick balance wise. very brief balance things here. The guitars themselves can just come down by a couple dB, and so your vocals takes a little bit more of the center stage. Right now they can have now great tone. I really, really do love your tone. They can come down probably 2 or 3 dB in the mix to regain some clarity for your vocal, so it still kind of sits at the top. They're so loud, and since they're 100% outside, they're very prominent in the mix. Those can be subdued a little bit in order to leave some space for the the drums and your vocal to shine a little bit more. Small detail, easy fix. That's a 5-minute revision. You're done. That's easy to do. On the drum side, you said you're using like a drum pad, like an electric. I'm assuming like an electric drum set, like an old like Roland SP or like a TD electric kit or something like that. It's just like a simple drum pad. Is that what you're using, or what? If you know what it is exactly, let me know, because I can talk through some ways where you can really easily edit this and adjust it and stuff like that. So let me know. I'm gonna keep it playing. Okay, so you're playing here. So you're just hand playing those drums. You're just tapping the pads then. I'm assuming is what you're doing. Okay. So are you doing any, so I'll ask kind of some questions intermittently. Are you recording with a click track at all, or anything close to that? There's some tempo changes in here and some movement in here, but maybe you still are every once in a while. But let me know if you're like tracking your core with a click track at all. Ocean titan, sea iron, testified and nullified and pushed aside, and you would push me past the point of leaving home. Makes you wonder how I have went this long. Maybe I should have seen this coming, realized demonized in southern walls, idolized your disguise and it is all this time, and it's all right. You were bright as the sun and much more than I. Come on, 'cause it's time to decide what's right. Leave a while I am far from home. Yeah, 100%. I said it, you meant it. Okay, here's what I do. Do you know what quantizing is? Just so I know, I want to talk about a couple of things that you can do to keep it as loose as possible and keep the recording as the recording as free and everything as possible. Here's what I would do. When it comes to things that I want to keep really natural, especially because I track a lot of analog synths and stuff like that. So I have a whole other like rack of synths over here, and I got more on the way. I love tracking analog synths. I also love tracking live drums. When I'm tracking either live drums or like analog synths, or if I'm like routing, I have a rack of synths over here. When I'm like routing MIDI to synths and stuff like that, or I'm like playing something right here, like maybe I'm just like playing a piano right here. And this is what I want to happen in the structure of the song, but I don't want it to feel rigid, because I'm assuming that's kind of the mindset that you have, is you're maybe in the camp of like, if I quantize all of this and I line all of this up really strictly, then this is gonna feel like too rigid. I don't want it to feel rigid. I still want it to feel like natural and loose, and kind of low fidelity in a way. You know what I mean? Right. So I want to keep that, because that's important to your sonics. My goal is not to change that. But you still want to make sure that they're in the process of keeping things loose. And kind of like we were talking about, you might not have been here, but maybe an hour and a half ago, or 2 hours ago, we're talking about like sometimes what makes things sound more natural is actually doing something to them. Like sometimes if you have like an unprocessed vocal and then add a huge hall reverb on it, it kind of feels weird. It feels like we're like, well, now I'm really hearing the hall reverb, and I know you're not in a hall. It's more obvious because your vocal sounds really dark and weird, but then the hall reverb's there and it sounds unnatural and interesting. Or I'm like overhearing the auto tune because the vocal's not manually lined up. But if all of a sudden you like manually correct the vocal and melodyne, or you actually set it into space more consistently, you don't actually notice the artifact of the other plugins. Same thing kind of I'm applying here. If you have drums like this, but they're too far off, or there's different moments where it's like it's so unquantized that it actually is throwing off other rhythmic elements in the song, then all of a sudden I am now, in your pursuit of a more natural mix, I'm actually hearing more of the digital drums. I'm hearing the triggers in between. I'm hearing the resampling of the same exact snare happening multiple times, because those elements aren't disguised by the lower bass of the electric guitars. They're not like disguised underneath the structure of your production. So sometimes the pursuit of natural actually takes sometimes far more nuanced mixing. One example is like a vocal like Adele, right? Like Adele has a powerhouse, natural but not distracting, 100%. Powerhouse vocal. She's amazing. You hear her live, she can sing her heart out, like amazing. To get the studio record that way is still, they're still like Melodyne. They're still like these notes that are just kind of slid into place. This thing is natural, wider vibrato here. There's surgical editing oftentimes that happens in order to make sure that that vocal is presented as natural as possible, so that that translation is as clean as possible. Same thing with a lot of drums, where it's like, if the drums are super out of time, you'll notice every single thing about them, and so on and so on. So what can be helpful is to a couple things. There are a couple of options here. One would be to only quantize certain elements, right? I do this all the time, where I will only quantize kicks. And everything else, I'll just play afterwards on their own kind of grid. There might be a little bit of swing to it. I might come in a little early, a little bit late, but it feels really natural. I'll only keep like the kick in line with everything else, so that like the kick plays with the guitars, the kick is lined up with your bass line in there. The structure of the song feels natural and organic, but right in time. But the snares might roll a little bit off of the grid. The hats might have a little bit of swing to them. They feel a little bit more natural, but the structure of the drums doesn't feel like it's way off time because the kick is fairly lined up. The other would be to line up your main, and this takes you going in and taking your MIDI and really selecting what you want to line up. Taking your main kick and snare, not all of the interludes and stuff and all the extra notes, but like kick and snare, and quantizing it. Get it straight on. You know what I mean? Like get everything really, really locked in. And once everything is locked in, then pull it off of the grid a little bit so it sounds a little bit more natural. So like you line everything up and then take the snare and put it, 5 milliseconds north. Just like select it and slide it outside of the grid a little bit. Same thing with the kick. Maybe the kick comes in a little early, or maybe you take every other kick. Like just go through, like zoom in on your session or zoom out of your session, select every other kick drum. It's perfectly quantized at the start, every other kick drum, and pull it off the grid. It just makes it feel slightly inconsistent, but still right in time. Very natural, very clean. You're still playing it freely when you're tracking it, and it can be as creative and as interesting as you want to, but your core sound is a little bit closer to a natural tone. Another thing, and you're already doing this, so I'm not worried about it, I'm just saying it in general, is another thing that really helps with things feeling more natural is actually your velocity ranges. Automating your velocity, having different velocity ranges and you already have that because of the way that you played it, so I'm really not worried about it. But sometimes what makes things feel too digital, too artificial, is re-triggering of the same samples. So just a quick example is like sometimes, so there's 127 velocity points. We don't have to get too deep into this, but there's 127 velocity points, right? Some plugins and some VSTs, there's no velocity range, right? So it's like, it might be like a free plugin, and there's just like, you go anywhere between 0 and 127 and it's the exact same sample played. Maybe it's just played at different volumes, and that's the only thing that changes with velocity. Really good quality plugins, like the ones that you're using for drums, there will be different samples that are hit at different ranges. Great quality ones will have like 100 different samples, 20 different samples from 0 to 127, that if I hit this like really, really lightly, it's a specific sample. I hit it in the middle, that's a different sample of that note. I hit it harder, it's a different sample of that note. It's not just louder, it actually tonally changes and gets different. That's where, when I copy the snares for the quick parts, 100%, right? So one of the other things that makes it feel more interesting is your velocity's not the same, right? So when you're doing snare rolls, it's not just all at 40, right? Because if I put 8 little trills, right, all at 40 velocity, they all are the exact same sample. But if I go in there and I put one at 36, one at 45, 3 at 42, another one at 41, and then I want it to get louder at the end of the roll, so I kind of go to 45, 48, 52, then it sounds more and again, this is the surgical part of making it sound more real and more natural, right? It's like, I'm doing so much to make this sound real, but it actually sounds more transparent. It actually sounds more natural, even though doing way more to the track. Because when I play a drum set, my hand never hits the same, my stick never hits the same part of the drum at the same velocity ever. And so if you can recreate that within your drum programming, although it takes a lot more work, it will make it sound so much better. It'll make it sound so much more natural. And yours already sounds pretty good. I'm really not mad at it, to be honest with you. I'm really not too mad at it. I would just fine tune the timing loosely. Keep it loose still. Fine tune the timing loosely And when you're doing like drum rolls and snare rolls and stuff like that, choose different randomized velocity ranges or close to randomized velocity ranges so it feels a little bit more natural. And the VST will trigger different samples within that range so it feels a little bit more like a real drum set. That'll be your superpower. It'll make people literally think you're using real drums. Like if it wasn't for a couple of the little drum rolls in here, I literally, when I first heard the song, I literally asked like, wait, you have drums in your room? I was like, I mean, that's cool. You have a bedroom setup and you got drums in your room, because I hadn't heard some of the more consistent notes later on. But as soon as we got into some drum rolls, it made more sense that you're using a pad or something like that. Yeah, SSL is great. Hertz drums is also great. I mean, Get Good Drums is great. There's a lot of fantastic drum plugins out there now. They do a great job. So they give you a full range of velocity. They give you a full range of all these things. Utilize it, and you'll hear your drums just come to life. It'll be fun. All right, let me get into the last section here. But I think, yeah, slight balancing from like your lead vocal, I think is awesome. I think it's so good. I think like keep that lead vocal structure where it is, and then just drop those guitars down into the mix a little bit, get a little bit better control over your percussion, and you're gonna be ready to go. I'm so excited for you. I don't think you're far off at all. I think people are gonna fall in love with your sound, especially if you market halfway decently. You'll be ready to go. Can I get you to help me with a vocal stack for made at home recordings and Logic? Yeah. Tell me what the pain point is. Yeah, let me know. I'm gonna hear the outro of this song here, and then this is closing us up for today. Let me see a couple things. Ooh. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm more likely to reply over there, and then we can kind of figure out what the pain point is that you're dealing with, and then see if there's any way that I can help you. I don't have Logic. I have Pro Tools and I have FL Studio, but I can probably still work through some of the things that you're talking about 100%. Made hundreds of songs out there just for the love of it. Wanted to make an EP just to wrap 100%, just to get a cohesive project out and show the world what you do. Best band of all time, super subjective, hard to say. I probably have to go Beatles just by, cultural impact. Probably have to go Beatles. Dude, absolutely. I'm so excited for what you're doing. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that as well. So right there, you hear that? Because that velocity is so consistent. On a real snare, there'd be this like build as this. I mean, not to harp on this too much, but when that snare is rolling, the stick is getting like lower. So you get the roll has this like increased tension to it. It's not all the same. So that's where I'm like, even though you're not a drummer, when you start to get really good at programming, you'll start to think like one, even if you're not one, right? In the same way that like when you're a good guitar player, you'll start programming stuff more like a guitar player because you want to hear these different chords and melodies and stuff like that. And so that's like, even though you're not a drummer, if you can start to like think like one in a way of like, how would this be played? Like I've seen drummers like I'm watching, I mean, quite literally like study drumming, like watch good rock drummers, and just like see how often they're hitting certain drums and be like, okay, I need to make sure that's kind of in the mix the whole time. And cause you can see the visual on SSL, like you can kind of see kind of everything that's happening there. And so like, look at what they're doing and you'll be able to be like, okay, yeah, I can program something. You'll see they'll hit little ghost notes in between. They're just really and then the harder hits and then ghost notes in between. You'll start to see that stuff happen and you'll be like, okay, if I want my drums to sound real, I'm going to start to put some of these little textures in there too. And it'll make your, sequence drums sound really, really authentic. What's up, Paul? Welcome in. Thanks for the heartbeat. Y'all show some love, man. Show some love. Artist unknown. I'm a fan. I feel like you have a nostalgic sound. It feels authentic. It feels real. It feels really, really engaging to listen to. So I absolutely love what you're doing. Absolutely love. I think even like you said, it's for fun. It's a hobby, but it's still something that you're passionate about. It's still something you want to do. You're putting energy into. You're putting time into. And so I would love to get some polish on these elements so that your creative ideas come to life even more. You're more confident in what you're presenting to people. But man, I'm proud of the work that you're already putting in. I think you're doing some great stuff. I genuinely do really like your sound as well. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I appreciate you so much. Everybody show some love to Artists Unknown. That's going to close us up for today. I love and appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for tapping in today. I will most likely not be live tomorrow as far as I'm aware. I don't think I'll be live tomorrow. But I will most likely maybe be live Saturday morning. Maybe I think might be the next time I'll go live, potentially. If not, I'll have to check my schedule. My schedule's all over the place this weekend. But I'll do my best to go live, at least once over this weekend as well. I love and appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much for tapping in, for spending some time with us today. I hope you'll have an amazing rest of your evening as well. Peace.